Uh-oh. That's way too far over that way now. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Wait, what is this? There. Where's the fucking... there's the problem. Perfect. What up? Nathaniel first to chat. Hello, hello. Getting an early start tonight because I've done pretty much everything I can around the home, around my house, in my days off. I had nothing left to do. I've done laundry, I vacuumed, I cleaned my room, I cleaned most of the bench, I packed all the stuff that I need to pack for shipping. What up, friends? Yeah, so we're doing a little bit of an earlier start today. Just because I'm out of things to do. Pardon my protein shake. Also, we're gonna watch some true crime. Or some like maybe creepypasta. I do be enjoying the scary spaghetti. I just made that up. Oh, good protein shake. I like how low I put something different here and put the phone on it. Or not the phone, my laptop on it so I can read chat, but it's too low. I'm looking too low. I need to put something else on this table. Which will be you for now. I choose you. Perfect. Look at that. Alright, like I said, we're going to start some scary stories. This one looks good. 9 True Horror Stories. Animated compilation. We'll do stuff like that. But also, I want to do some like true crime stuff like Jonestown. I love stuff like that. We'll do some Jonestown. We'll do Heaven's Gate. Fun. We'll discuss the things that cults should not be. We will go into some depth about what we will not be doing, or some checks and balances in the system that if you see me start to do some things, you should be like, hey. I'm just kidding. It won't get to that point. Has YouTube updated? Nope, not yet. I imagine it's going to at midnight, which is usually what it's been doing, but I swear to God, if it goes down again. But you know what's really funny is probably what's going to happen is it's probably just going to go right back up to like 3970. Like right below 4K. Oh, God. But yeah, I messaged customer service, Google, whatever it is, and they, like I said, telling y'all yesterday, they just gave me the runaround. They're like, yeah, you know, the tracker is, hi Jay, the tracker is just, you know, sometimes not up to date, and it's on a revolving 48-hour basis behind the actual posting of your videos. And I was like, I know all this. I as per my last message to them, And then the tone got very hostile in response. So I ended the whatchamacallit, the fucking thing. Oh, also, if y'all have not checked Discord, check Discord. We have a conspiracy going right now that my stalker is obviously the one still mass reporting my stuff, but they actually commented on my latest video and said it was a blank profile, completely blank profile with just random follows in the follow, and then just random follows back for the follows back. No actual name, no picture, no nothing. And the comment was, "Are you taking a break from the stream?" ? Just that's it. No content on the page. And they asked that question. I'm just like, that's bait. Like that reads as somebody who started a house fire going, that sure is a nice fire. Sure is a big house fire. I wonder who started that. As per my last email, right? But yeah, whoever, and it's obvious who it is. It's somebody who wants my attention, and it's somebody who goes out of their way to have a fake account that looks real enough that I wouldn't notice it at first glance, but they're bold enough to fucking return to the scene of the crime me just like that and expect me not to fucking notice. Also, the angle of the TV is off again. Why does it do this? See? Why do you... Is it because... That's what it is. This needs to be further in. It needs to be like that. Yeah, that's totally what it was. What the fuck? As per my last email, or as per my last message... Because they kept saying the same shit. I literally, they said, yeah, your watch hours and your public watch hours aren't the same thing. And I messaged back and I said, as per my last message, yes, I already knew that. Oh, God. Also, I've made 4 cell phone telephone calls in the past 24 hours. So you could say that I'm, like, cured of my mental illness. So that's pretty big news, I guess. No more mental illness for me because I talked on the cell phone telephone. There we go. This is how it's always... Okay, I figured out what the problem has been. The phone itself is supposed to be tilted this way, but it hasn't been because I have a little fucking pop socket on it. Also, I broke my nail the other day, and I broke it way too close to the fucking meat, so I gotta let it grow out before I can cut it. Oh, and we have a Lucy sighting. The pups are in the middle of new haircuts. They're doing so well. I can only do a little bit at a time before my fucking back starts giving out. Because I have to do it sitting down with them. Yeah, I'm refinancing my home. Refinancing my house. I have to get my mom's boyfriend or significant other partner, practically married by now, but they aren't. He co-signed on my house because some bullshit with my dad happened. I'm still on the note for the house that I co-signed for my dad. So he had to co-sign this house, and now I have to refinance this house to get him off the note so he can co-sign for his daughter who's getting married. Fucking adult things. Ugh, still have to worry about the fucking foundation too. I'm putting that off though. That's the one thing I'm putting off because I know it's going to be the big thing. Because not only am I going to have to get somebody out here to go and look through all that, but I'm going to have to take a loan out, probably against the note of my home, get a home equity line of credit to pay for renovations for my home. And I still have to check to see if the rainfall that came through here on Dallas will qualify for insurance claims. Isn't that fun? Ugh. I hate it. It's almost like I'm a part of fucking society or something. Had to fucking pull out 2 years of my taxes, like, ugh. You can do it, Lucinda. It's worth it. It's worth it in the end. It will be. I tried doing this 4 months ago when the fucking rates were lower at 3%. Now they're at like 6%, which is just like, fuck me. It's funny when I start talking about stuff like this, because I try not to talk about like adult stuff like this, but I am knowledgeable on the side of these things as well. I have a very basic knowledge of a lot of stuff, but I do try to keep the knowledge that I put forward a lot more off the beaten track, off the fucking societal trail. But whenever I start bringing stuff up like this, it makes me laugh because I feel like I kind of take people by surprise. Especially when I mention I own my own home and I did all this by myself. I paid for it by myself. Well, obviously didn't pay for it, or not by myself because Bob co-signed it. But hey, I had to do all that on my own. Learn about all of it. Still fucking learning about it. It's so annoying. It's that I'm having to learn about it now instead of in fucking school. Oh yeah, Lucinda. Do y'all use Amazon Fresh? If you do not use Amazon Fresh, I would 1000% recommend it. First of all, screw Jeff Bezos and his bald head. We all know that there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. We can understand that we're bound within the realms of our reality and use the resources that best benefit us. And I use HelloFresh because it saves me time not only going to the store, but in the inevitable breakdown afterward that I'm going to have because I have to walk through the refrigerator aisle. You save hours of your day as well as the recovery time from the stress of having to do all that. Something to look into. You have to have Amazon Prime, I think. But $6 a month plus... it's $6 a month with free delivery, and that saves however much time it takes to do that. That's more time you can use to do stuff around the house. And again, just for me, the inevitable breakdown I'll have after having to go into the supermarket and stuff. Not only because of how horribly overstimulating that place is, but believe it or not, I have a lot of trauma in stores like Walmart. But yeah, I would highly recommend looking into Amazon Fresh if you do not already. Why is this all here? Why is my my launch pad opened up? It's like why is that there? I want to see what this is. Dang, why are you gonna scratch your face off? Don't look at me like that. Why are you looking at me like that? But, oh, my buns. Come on, give me a hug.
Living spaces.
Give me a hug. Oh, okay, Lucy's gonna give me a hug then. You lost your chance, Marley.
Here we go.
Remember, Mom is a kayak
Yes, I
player.
needed a dog hug. Jesus, Lucy.
Kayak?
She's attacking.
Excuse me. Do the research, Todd.
Listen to me.
What up, Sky?
Kayak searches hundreds of travel sites to find you great deals on flights, cars.
They deliver everything. They've got everything. House supplies and toiletries and whatnot. So this is 9 True Horror Stories animated compilation. I want to see if these are like true homeless.
I've lived a long enough life to have heard and seen a
Hey,
lot of unusual
careful.
things. Of course, having spent many of my years in it, in the state.
I want like creepypasta style though. I don't want like actual like crimes and stuff. What up, Sky? Summoned from the slumber. Give me some suggestions. I know Mytho was just saying that they were talking about true crime stuff, but we gotta be careful if it's too popular of a page, like that one lady who does makeup at the same time. Let's start with the classic though. Let's start with Jonestown. Most people know it. Most people don't know the actual details behind it. Why didn't it? Is that her name? The one who does the makeup? I'll do this one, I guess. Oh, that's your suggestion? Gotcha.
An evangelical preacher led nearly 1,000 followers from the United States.
Most of them black and people of color.
How about you?
Something that
Is the best thing ever happened to you?
always gets looked over is that they were predominantly black and people of color. That pretty much got taken.
They would build a new community, free of oppression and violence. It was to be their paradise on earth.
I wanted to
Bailey,
leave
right.
as soon as I got there.
What up,
I
Edith?
was in an army.
Oh, feeling so much
But
better, yeah.
outsiders threatened to expose the dark side.
Still gonna take it easy tonight, though.
We are going into Jonestown. And if any of your family members want to come home, then by God, we're going to bring them home.
You keep on coming. Just leave us.
They're killing everyone!
In one day, two worlds collided, and paradise was lost.
Know that you have never
Hope y'all are doing good.
been loved so much as I love you right now.
Real footage.
The People's Temple was a wonderful mosaic of the whole spectrum.
We'll take a rip real quick. Our kiln is almost warm.
It was a dream.
We're gonna do the ashtray for Arctic, and we're gonna finish one of the
February 18th, 1970.
wine glasses for Lexi tonight. I want to be careful with the bigger stuff, just because I don't want to take too much out of me. The bigger stuff is definitely more tiring than the smaller stuff, that's for sure. Just hotter, you know? Yeah, cheers to you all. General trigger warning throughout most of this. Abuse, coercion, obviously this. If you know anything about Jonestown, or true video, actual video.
The threat of mass suicide was quite real.
Also trigger warning for that.
Now, this morning, there are fresh reports. Jones ordered a mass suicide. 940 people were murdered.
Trigger warning for infanticide, trigger warning for, obviously, yeah, you get it.
And he was telling them not to tell the children that they were dying, it was painful, and that people had to die with dignity.
In November 1978, reporters around the world broke the news that Jim Jones and more than 900 of his followers died. By the late 1960s and early 70s, the streets were erupted in violence and civil strife. The war in Vietnam, civil rights marches, and political assassinations played out on television.
First time a war was televised.
Out of this turmoil, thousands of Americans flocked to hear the sermons of a charismatic preacher named Jim Jones. A fiery orator, Jones's early speeches were a mixture of
Put myself in the fucking
ideals
eyeball.
and Christian
Right.
redemption.
And the
If there was
old
anything universal about the temple experience
peeper.
and what it was that drew people, it was, on some level, we were all wanting to belong.
Some turn to the temple because they need help. Others want to serve humanity. Whatever they need,
Over
Jim Jones and his
turning
people's
oxygen,
temple seem to
propane on.
have it. The only way it's going to get better is through us and what we can do in the world. That was everything from gradual social change to violent revolution to cleaning up after nuclear fallout. Jim Jones claimed special powers to heal the sick and dying. Staged healings were a popular attraction at temple meetings.
With dusting in my eye from my fucking glasses, my right eyeball's taking a beating tonight.
Dad found out what you wanted to hear and see and showed it to you. Whatever you were looking for or wherever you were running from or running toward, Dad had an uncanny ability to hook into that. It's exhilarating and very attractive. Once you get
bogey.
hooked by that, it's
I
really
can tell.
hard to
I can't do nothing about it because my fucking nose
get
ring.
out.
As his popularity grew, Jim Jones preached less about the Bible and more about social
Oh, hi,
activism.
Marley.
He called himself a prophet, a savior who would guide, protect, and watch over his followers.
You got pink belly. Now that you're getting a haircut. You got soft pink belly. You gotta come over here this way. They can't see you none. Come further this way. They can't see you at all.
Jim Jones's devoted followers referred to him as Father. Many signed over their paychecks, possessions, even their homes.
Hang on, she wants to be picked up.
But at the height of his power, the darker side of Jim Jones emerged.
Stinky baby.
Former temple members accused Jones of physical and sexual abuse, mind control, and forced druggings.
Lucy, you don't even like being picked up. You pee.
In
You pee every single
1977,
time you get picked
as
up.
media interest grew, Jim Jones and
You don't
hundreds of
like
his
it, don't
supporters
even
left
act
San
like you're
Francisco,
jealous.
California.
Look at how she holds on
They
with her
set
little
out for
hands.
Guyana, determined to build a new community in the South American country. In the middle of the jungle, 150 miles from the capital of Georgetown,
This the baby.
People's Temple built what was to be a socialist paradise on earth. They called it Jonestown, after their leader.
Because of Father's example here in Guyana, we're building equipment and doing things to feed hungry people and set up a little town, an actual community or a country of our own where we can live the way we like to live with our own lifestyle.
Yeah, you tell her how jealous you are, but then they'll just piss all over the place if I try to pick you up, right?
Starving masses of the world.
As the allegations
It's because doodles are kind of weirdly
temple
proportioned.
members continued to flock to the remote.
Doodles are weirdly proportioned. They've got all their organs either in the very top or in the very bottom of their bodies. If you look at them, that's why they're kind of like shaped like that. And their bladder is one of the only organs at the bottom. their bladder, their kidney, and their liver is at the bottom. So they have problems with all of those things. And that one, if I squeeze her just a little bit, try to pick her up, she just starts pissing everywhere.
Outpost. Labeling the attacks as a government conspiracy.
Well, I like moths.
People's Temple. Jones and many of his followers.
I like moths and
It's the most beautiful place
butterflies.
I've ever been in all my life. There's so many wonderful things about it.
This is a beautiful place here, and it's really good.
I do not want to go back in any way, shape, or form.
Ooh, my back.
To,
you hear that?
To the States.
I can't help but say that none of this would have been possible had it not been for Jim Jones.
Flying bugs, that's valid. What was it? VHS. The second VHS does a really, really good adaptation of this, but it's in Thailand, I believe. They do a Jonestown retelling, but it's someone in either Thailand or Vietnam.
His entire existence.
My American ear can't tell the difference.
Those he perceived. I think people need to understand that Every hour of the day, Jim Jones thought he was a fraud. He knew he was a bad guy. He knew he was a sick guy. He just didn't want anybody else to know.
Why not? Why not?
Why it wasn't doing that all yesterday. It wasn't doing that stupid oxygen thing. Why is it doing it now?
In 1974, and had been living in Jonestown for 8 months.
The term white knight was a term used for like an extreme emergency. There would be a siren or an announcement to come to the pavilion immediately, and there was a life and death situation. It was something where the community was being threatened, and we had to make an immediate decision about a course of action. And it would usually be all of the night.
There we go. Why? No.
Used by Jim Jones to create an atmosphere of fear and desperation amongst his followers. The White Knights sometimes included rehearsals for mass suicide. Which
When you're the
Jones
only
considered
check and
test
balance
faith
for the
and
power
mentality.
in a group like this, there's already problems. If you're supposed to be a socialistic, like, people's group, there can be a figurehead, but that's all it should be, is a symbol. Is like, yeah, thank you, whoever, for bringing us all together, but we make decisions as a group, not as this person. And that's what interests me about this a lot too, is that they modeled this after a socialist haven. So, for the people, by the people, but with him at the very helm, dictating everything. It's interesting how that happens. What, Michael?
I am the greatest friend that you will ever have, and I'm trying on every level to protect this community.
Jesus.
Are you with me? You with me?
And then when you have to like convince people like that too.
People with guns and rifles surrounding the assembly.
You have to have guns and rifles.
With guns. And they weren't pointed outward, they were pointed inward. And so there was a sense of an armed encampment.
I mean, I get it during the 60s, during wartime, like there's...
And again! To be together with the community.
There's a lot going on. Oh, I'm doing much better. We're gonna take it easy tonight, for sure.
You've been at it for hours, you're exhausted. They're exhausted and afraid.
I got so much done
Let them go to sleep.
on my short nights, so I need to hop back on the torch. Because I don't have much else to do around the house.
Alright. Go on, back to bed.
After the death of his wife, Vern Gosney arrived in Jonestown with his 4-year-old son.
I was very vulnerable. I decided I was going to go to Jonestown, and they were going to make me be a good socialist. Whatever I was lacking within myself would be instilled in me by living in Jonestown. I wanted to leave as soon as I got there. I was not free to leave, nor was anyone. I had confided in my roommate that I wanted to leave, and that was taking a huge, huge risk. He had at one time attempted to escape, and he was punished so severely that he was literally frightened out of his mind.
Nice, Jay. How do you organize them? Do you do it in like an altar scene? I don't have much. I don't know. I need to actually dedicate like altar space. I just have mine just kind of strewn across different tables.
On November 14th, 1978, U.S. Congressman Leo J. Ryan, along with his aide, Jackie Spear, flew to Guyana to investigate allegations of abuse within the temple.
And Guyana is
The delegation included relatives who were determined to see that their loved ones were free to come and go as they pleased.
Remind me to look up where that is. I know it's South America, but I'm wondering how deep south, because I'm pretty sure they went like
14
far.
relatives, some former temple members who spoke out against Jones, accompanied Ryan. Members of the U.S. media covered the trip, including Dawn Harris from NBC, an American television network, and Tim Reiterman, a reporter on assignment for the San Francisco
Alter Space we have.
Jim Jones initially presented People's Temple as an extraordinary institution. And he was someone who was viewed as a little eccentric.
Oh wait, I need to
because he went around with bodyguards and he wore dark glasses, whether it was the sun was out or not.
Think he's got something to hide? What do you think? We spoke with him, yeah, on the radio once. Figures we're out to get him.
Congressman Ryan's trip was designed to find out whether the allegations from ex-members were true, that Jim Jones controlled the members through disciplinary beatings, forcing them to turn over their property and, in some cases, custody of their children.
What the fuck?
And whether he was threatening people with death if they would leave the organization.
Folks, we're about to land in Georgetown. It's been a long road for many of you. Your loved ones are down there. And I just want to let you know that we're going to do everything we can to make sure they're safe, they're happy.
Again, this is going to be the ashtray for the
In other words,
space tech
have an
set.
official invite.
Let me tell you something right now. Not as your congressman, but as your friend. We're going into Jones.
Bookshelf authors are the best.
If any of your family members want to come home, well, by God, we're going to bring them home.
Congressman, I just wanted to say, to thank you. This wouldn't have happened without you.
Really?
Oh, sure.
A curiosity case, something which like... See, I can't ever find one with deep enough shelves.
Always hope yours are going to turn out all right.
Your ex?
Yeah. She was Linda when I knew her. Now she's Sharon. Jones made her do that. No one? I knew this other girl called Linda. Didn't like her. So now, no one can be called Linda.
And don't you worry about things, Cheryl. Everything's going to be just fine. Sherwin Harris was attempting to visit his daughter Leanne, who was living in Jonestown.
People's Temple was something that started out apparently to be a good thing.
I don't have anything like that on my Facebook Marketplace. Mine's all Hispanic homemade food and plants. And most of the plants are just cactus and aloe and southern plants like that.
I had what I considered a strange relationship with my daughter. There was always a distance between us. There was always something strange going on. It was clearly, a dangerous situation. At this point, we knew that guns had been transmitted there. We knew what their attitude.
I like those things too. I wish I had shadow boxes and whatnot though.
Revolutionaries and people that acted brutally towards their own members. So I don't think there was any illusions on any of our parts.
The promise of Guyana was cloaked in religious terms. It was the promised land.
Yeah, when it's based in religion, you've also got a problem.
The land where we're going to build society.
Or at least Abrahamic.
We worked from sun up to sundown. We ate rice 3 times a day.
China cabinet, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Convey the remoteness of that place. There was no means of communication with the outside world. There wasn't like...
Yeah, there are some that are shippable.
There's no phone. There's no telephone.
Would love to have a space in here for some phones.
I think it's difficult to express to people who don't have this kind of experience that, why didn't you leave? It's so horrible, it's so terrible. How could you put yourself in that position? When actually, we were working for a cause that we believed in. It's like taking people to the limit and then moving that line, and then moving that line, and then moving that line, and wanting so desperately to believe in the dream and not seeing that the dream has become a nightmare.
A handful of temple members were permitted to form a basketball team.
If this works out, I'm definitely
Amongst
going to make
them
more
was Jim
ashtrays.
Jones's 19-year-old son, Stephen.
Ashtrays.
Days before the arrival of the Ryan delegation, Stephen and the basketball team left for Georgetown to play a series of games against the Guyanese national squad.
Dad was worried about the basketball team leaving and going into Georgetown. He knew the congressman was coming. I'm sure he feared that we might turn against him. And fortunately, Mom saw that happening, and Mom had really made this her cause to get us out of there.
Now you have in your hands the opportunity to make or break Jonestown, but you have to show a lot of character. A lot of character and grace.
That hair and that mustache. Looks like something Blink-182 would do, ironically.
When they score a goal, wow, give a little clap and you run right back to your post. Alright. Now remember, boys, when the other team scores, just give them a little clap. Just like that, a little clap. Believe me, fellas, that little clap in my day.
Yeah, definitely.
Folks are trying to find a reason to keep you from going. Be a better man.
Keep your eye on him. On him. You don't trust me? Anybody is capable of putting a bullet into your head. And if you see any of those relatives, those liars, you don't have anything to do with them. You understand?
Well, goodbye, my baby. You take care of yourself. I'll see you real soon.
I remember saying goodbye to her. I remember a long moment of just us looking at each other. I remember tears in her eyes and tears of my own. I remember each of us saying, we'll see you soon. Me believing it. Looking back, I don't think she did believe that would happen. I honestly think she thought she was getting us out of there before all hell broke loose.
Well, she was. That's exactly what happened.
When we got off the plane, the first person I saw was my ex-wife. And she was one of their leaders. She was pretty much the true believer, the fanatic, if you will, the type of person who could strap the dynamite on and walk in and take the whole room out. That's the commitment. When we were in
I had the door open that time.
Was to see my daughter.
To the,
to that end, I contacted my ex-wife.
Whatchamacallit.
No.
Whoops. Use this as a flashlight. That's happened once before now because we have the, whatchamacallit. The third oxygen machine set up. One sec. That looks cool. One moment, Doc. Hang on, I'm gonna need something to see in the dark ass garage. sound is awful. Nah, I was just in a breaker. Old ass house. Too much electricity. Added a whole nother whatchamacallit to the thing, so I do need to separate that and that. Where's the fucking plug? There you are. Alright, there we go. Let's try that again. I have redirected the energy. I have exorcised the demons. Oh. What up, Ruby? Yeah, old flipped house. Don't let your friends buy flipped houses. Then again, it was a very good investment because I'm up 30%, 38% already after I've lived here 5 years? 4 years, 5 years? 2017, 3, 4, 5, 5 years. 38% in 5 years is not bad. But we'll have to put a roof on it and do foundation work, which should have both been done. The roof should have been done and the foundation should have been done better. So that's the risk you get of buying a flipped home. Also, I already replaced the entire HVAC system, which was $5 grand. But yeah, we're gonna try that again. I redirected some of the power. If it shuts off again, then I'll probably have to unplug the third oxygen concentrator. It's not really necessary to have the three. It just makes the fucking oxygen go faster. Where we got past this for sure. Come on, go a little faster than that. Right around here. They were going to basketball game, right? Is it basketball or soccer?
We're in Guyana. My concern was to see my daughter. To that end, I contacted my ex-wife. I phoned her.
No. I'm not trying to tear anybody apart. I'm not against anybody. Would you stop that, please?
You're tearing us apart.
I'm here to see
Grab my water bottle. Speaking of, y'all make sure to stay hydrated.
Lynn, Sharon, I'm not going to argue with you. I've just flown thousands of miles to see my daughter, and I'm going to see her. And neither you, nor the temple, nor Jim Jones Almighty himself is going to stop me, all right? Do you hear me? Then hear me. She's my daughter too, and I'm going to see her tomorrow. If I have to go to Jonestown myself, I am going to see her. Good night.
I'm wasn't really concerned about getting into Jonestown as much as seeing my daughter. I wanted to spend the time that I had there with my daughter and also to discover fully what was going on. I love my daughter very much. I was committed to my daughter. You can't believe from the moment of her birth, my God.
Homies, homettes, homettes, and homos.
It was just that simple, and I was committed to her. I was very young when she was born, but it didn't.
That's everyone, right?
I was moving heaven and earth.
The People's Temple owned a house in the capital of Georgetown, which functioned as a way station for temple members.
What else? What other stuff like this should we watch? Obviously, Heaven's Gate, Slender Man, the true crime story behind Slender Man. What else? The LaLaRue house in the real vampire house, or the real vampire of Bourbon Street. We'll do that one. What else? Home Days. There you go. Jay. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty much everyone. Salad Fingers. You mean the fucking animated thing? That was fucking. Oh wait, no, that's isn't that Spoon Fingers or Spoon Hands, whatever? Yeah, Wacko the Clown. We can do a whole segment on clowns. That would be fun. No way, Nevada. That's awesome. First 48. Labyrinth, like the movie? We gotta go with like YouTube documentary style stuff. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. So kind of like amateur true crime, almost. Oh, Waco. So the David Koresh, great suggestion because I honestly don't know too much about that as well. It happened not too far from me, and it's very similar to this, honestly, between cult and violence and The Last Stand. Great suggestion. Yeah, we'll do that one next, honestly. I want to know more about that myself. That was one of the only times the federal government has invaded its own land, or like not necessarily declared war, but like dedicated actual military to a occupied. I'm trying to word it because again, I don't know too much about it. I'm not trying to act like I know about it. I'm trying to describe it before we go into it, but. Active military zone in the United States of these people who had pretty much declared themselves sovereign citizens in a compound occupied by men, women, children, all who had automatic weapons. Yeah, great suggestion. We'll for sure go into that one. Wacko, yeah. Definitely. Oh, my neck needs to pop. Yeah, DFW calls it Wacko. Abandoned amusement parks. Yes. So stuff like that. The amateur exploration of abandoned parks and stuff like that. Also, we'll get into that as well. We just need to explore. Get out of here, little moth. The non-professional stuff on YouTube, because most of the stuff, on this app won't get flagged. But if it's amateur stuff, that it specifically won't. That wasn't very long ago either. David Koresh in Waco, that was...
Residents of the house included Sherman Harris's ex-wife, and his daughter Leanne's stepsister Kristen, and the younger stepbrother, Martin.
Come in, Jonestown. This is Georgetown.
Go ahead.
They're here. They're determined to get in.
'90s, yeah, that's what I thought so. Why do I feel like I scooted that way with my mat somehow? So is he on drugs? Was that what he just took? Was he on drugs, or is he just like a megalomaniac?
Everybody report to the pavilion. Wide night. Wide night.
I had confided in my roommate that I wanted to leave, and he confided in someone else.
What's going on?
And that was Monica.
Here's the prep for the ashtray we're working on.
I've got to get out of here.
Ashtray.
I didn't trust anyone.
MXC.
Everybody was watching everyone. I had never had a conversation with Monica.
That was plan?
Hell no. I thought you did.
I'm gonna turn the oxygen
And we began
up just a little
to
bit.
talk to each other and bolster each other.
Also remember, once we
about
start working
wanting
on
to
this
leave.
again, when the oxygen machine turns back on, it might
For many in Jonestown,
kick the
reality was
breaker
at
off
least as
again.
bad as the press reports. From what I've seen, what was reported was true. And it wasn't good. Such as torture, abuse, deceit, theft, fake healings,
There we
drugging
go.
of people,
Alright.
punishing of children,
Let's see.
the drumming up of fear. Jim Jones used fear as
Again,
his
I don't
chief
necessarily
method of
need a
controlling his
third
people,
oxygen machine.
especially those with thoughts of returning
Here, let me
to
close
the
that
United
door.
States. It was just one account after another of how horrible the United States is becoming. Concentration camps were being constructed for people of color. The borders were being patrolled by racist organizations like the Ku Klux Klan. And when that failed, the message was, well, nuclear war is just around the corner, and we were in one of the safest places to ride out nuclear holocaust. Jim Jones, determined to keep prying eyes away from the settlement, rallied Temple members to sign a petition demanding that Congressman Ryan and his delegation stay out of Jonestown.
I want to see how many of you will sign right now. Right now. Say no. No. I will not go back.
The conditions at Jonestown were not conducive for someone to think clearly or sharply. I was numb. I was emotionally, mentally, and spiritually drained. My own personal feeling was that I didn't know what was going to happen to me.
No! I will not see any of my relatives. This is what you have to do, because if your relatives come with Congressman Ryan, if your relatives come with him, then your relatives are no better than he is.
I was unclear about what the plan exactly was, but my focus was the congressman and getting his assistance.
Running out of options, Congressman Ryan confronted Temple members at their headquarters in Georgetown, the only link to Jim Jones and Jonestown itself.
I'm going to do this whole.
If I'm not back in, say, 5 minutes, send in the dogs.
The house was full of Temple members, including Stephen Jones and the rest of the basketball team.
Ryan. I'm Leo Ryan, the bad guy. Hi.
I remember the congressman showing up. I remember having mixed feelings about it.
Are you drawing? Good to see you.
Very outgoing, charismatic, genuine man, so it seemed to me. And you don't get much of that in the Temple.
What's your name?
What can I do for you, Mr. Ryan?
Well, I'd like to speak with Jim.
Jim's not here.
But you put me in touch with him.
And at the same time thinking, who do you think you are walking up on our house?
You're gonna have to leave.
Hi. I'm Leo Ryan. You must have heard of me? No?
Stephen Jones, once or twice.
What are you doing here?
Basketball tournament. Us against the Guyanese Nationals.
How's it going?
Well, sir, they kicked our butts good the first two games.
we're looking for a little revenge.
Well, let me know if you need an extra pair of hands. I can't dunk, but you know, as politicians, we pass things really well. We pass the ball. Good luck.
Congressman, you can't just come in here as you please.
Lighten up, Sharon. The man's just trying to be friendly. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Like, do you like it there? Jonestown, how is it?
Your father wasn't taught you. Well, good luck, Steve. With the game, I mean.
You're gonna have to leave now, Mr. Ryan. This is private property.
Yeah, definitely feeling much better.
Okay.
Taking it
That's nice seeing
easy.
you. We'll be seeing you again. Bye-bye.
Taking it sleazy.
There was a point at which my father sent orders, funneled through the radio room, everything came through there, and Sharon Amos, that we were to return to Jonestown. The basketball team was ordered to come back.
I want you to come home.
Why?
Why? You need it here is why. I'm after you coming back first thing.
I'm turning the air conditioning on real quick.
The whole damn bunch of you.
Look, you said it yourself. We're good to all that. That's all I do.
We're having a good time. We're playing basketball.
Stephen, I think that it's back. You don't know what's happening here, Stephen. We really need you.
We're staying, Mom. We're gonna get against the national team tomorrow.
How's it gonna look if we just hightail it out of here?
Besides, you don't need to speak for him.
Well, it's up to you.
No, it is not up to him! I don't want him having anything to do with that congressman or with the relatives. I want him back here now! You don't give a damn what happened.
Damn, no wonder. Yeah, I didn't have the air on at all. It's
I
fucking
knew
74 in the
for a long
house.
time my father was nuts.
Like, it's warmer in here than
I'm one
normal.
that believes he was sick from very early on. By the time the congressman came, he only had a few more months at the rate he was going with his drug use. He was just
Wait, what was he using?
on drugs.
Probably amphetamines by the looks of it, right?
I haven't keeping this goddamn place together!
93, yeah, 2 years before I was born.
Closer to the edge by refusing to come back at that time.
Oh, thank you, Sky. I definitely needed that. Needed the time, needed to catch up on some sleep.
It must have been like he was
Do some stuff around the house.
in quicksand.
Trimmed up the beard.
Nothing.
Drank a lot of water.
Jim Jones summoned People's Temple lawyer Charles Gary to handle Congressman Ryan's visit
Charles
to Jonestown.
Gary.
But Jones suddenly reversed course and denied entry.
What do you mean we're not going to Jonestown? The only goddamn reason I came here is to take Ryan to Jonestown. Who the hell changed it, Sharon? You?
Jim did, all right? It was Ryan's fault anyway, coming in like he did.
It's a whole lot of crap.
It was Jim's decision to cancel the visit.
You know, I've had it with you people. The plane goes back to Miami at 1 p.m. I'm going to be on it. You hear me? Listen, Jim.
I'm alright.
We are righteous people, man.
And they come to destroy what was there.
We cannot allow them. They want to steal our children. Jim.
So wrong.
Good job, Sky. Yeah, you gotta have some days to catch up.
Jim, cut it. Now, what I'm going to say is very simple.
No, Michael,
Two
don't.
alternatives.
Now, the first is to tell the Congress of the United States.
We got a wide range of ages in here that we hang out with. Where's the? Oh, here it is. I was gonna say I know I had one of these that would have been perfect.
Go to hell. But if you do that,
I can't live with it. It's the end of the line. I won't be with you. Now, second
Is that I've been urging you to do all along.
I'm gonna let the Congressman in.
Where it comes from, relatives. You never see for yourself what a beautiful place we have there. Calm down, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. Calm down.
Finally, we got word after negotiations between the congressmen and People's Temple's lawyers and Jones that we would be allowed to head into Jonestown.
The preparation for Jonestown before Ryan's visit was just like the mayor was visiting or the congressman was visiting. You'd paint the house, you'd spruce up the plants, you'd read everything would be in a number one condition to make a positive impression. We had a lot of rehearsal about what to say to these people if they came in. We rehearsed over and over and over and over again.
How long would you like to stay?
Forever. You just can't imagine that all the hundreds of us here are so extremely happy.
And I really feel nobody about me. I'm free, and I believe in God.
Now you tell me, those big buildings out there, what are they?
Look at yourself.
And how many people would you say on average lives in a house?
4 or 5. Let's go to the house.
No. I wouldn't say that. I'd say 4 or 5. Just don't you go into that. Okay, pass. What do you find that's wrong with this place?
Well, I don't find anything wrong. I had more opportunities here than any other than I ever had in the States.
How do you feel about USA?
I don't feel it's all right.
Cheers, Michael.
That's very good. We don't want to say we're pro-Soviet or that we're against America. You got that?
I got it.
Pass. Monica, when you refer to Jonestown, how do you refer to it?
As a very nice place.
There was always an atmosphere of us versus them. Jones mentioned that Congressman Ryan was coming, concerned relatives were coming, journalists who were...
It's past midnight. I'll check the hours here just 1 sec.
They were coming to destroy us.
People get along, white and black together, and
I just say it's a community. Jonestown, it's a community. All right, pass.
The survival of the community rested upon a good report from these people coming and leaving without incident and giving wonderful reports on Jonestown.
What are common complaints you hear in the community?
I don't hear any complaints. Only praises about being able to live here in Guyana. My son's here with me, and I appreciate being here. I enjoy it here. I've had many more opportunities for learning trades than I have my entire life.
What are some of the complaints you hear against the community, against the temple?
I don't hear any complaints. The only thing I hear is how much people love it here. Everybody says this is the best thing that's ever happened in their whole lives. How about you?
Is the best thing ever happened to you?
The very best. I really appreciate being here. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Leanne's coming here. No, that's fine. I don't need to go to Jonestown. No, if she's coming here, then I'll just stay here. Okay. Lunch, dinner, I really don't care. Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead. Gardens. Good. No, I'll find it. Yes. Okay. And Linda. Sharon. Thank you. Bye.
I got that information that my daughter was going to come down on Saturday, there was no reason in my mind to, at that point, to go to Jonestown. Now, if it turned out I was being lied to and she didn't show up on Saturday, I'm going to Jonestown. I'm going wherever I need to go. I'm going to find my daughter.
Congressman Ryan chartered a plane to transport relatives and journalists to Jonestown.
Ready.
More than 150 miles deep into the jungle.
What up, James? Lexi!
Only the Constitution does not give him the right to go wherever he is not invited. We can't win now. You cannot win now. He comes tripping into our house like he owned it, telling Sharon Amos and a lot of dirty things about it. Well, I said, you tell him to go to hell. You get it? Lost. We don't have to tell him anything anyway. We don't have to tell him anything. And you know what? I don't know how long he's going to stay, but I can assure you, if he stays long enough for Tea, he is going to regret it.
Know that you have never been
Go, Ashtray, go!
right now.
Monica, myself, and my roommate did have a meeting about Ryan coming. The plan was I was going to slip the congressman a note asking for his help to leave.
This is our chance. Monica? Keith?
What about your son, Vern?
That's going to be my reporters.
I wrote the note. Vernon Gosney, Monica Bagby, help us get out of Jonestown. And that was the note.
He's better off here anyway.
I didn't know whether to take my son was the right thing to do or not. I wasn't thinking clearly.
When we flew over the jungle, it became pretty clear how remote and inaccessible Jonestown really was.
The plane touched down at an isolated airstrip more than 5 miles from Jonestown.
When we finally landed on a small dirt airstrip in Port Kaituma, it became clear how difficult it would have been for anyone to leave Jonestown. When a truckload of People's Temple members pulled up with a flatbed, we expected that we'd be moving on quickly to Jonestown and started unpacking our gear.
Congressman Ryan, I'm Corporal Emo Loretta, United East Defense Force.
Thank you very much for coming to meet us.
I've been instructed to inform you that only Mr. Garrett is to board the truck for Jonestown.
We're a congressional delegation. We're here to inquire into the health and welfare of the people of Jonestown.
My instructions are clear.
Who will you be getting instructions from?
Please return to the plane.
Congressman Ryan insisted you to come with us.
Mr. Gary, I was told...
Okay, never mind what you've been told. I'm telling you, if you catch any grief, I'll be right there. Congressman. Work it out. Don't try and come on your own.
Clearly at that point, we were not welcome. All we could do was wait. Finally, within a few hours, the truck returned to the airstrip.
Anybody that wants to come to Jonestown, climb on.
And we were allowed to board it, and we rode toward Jonestown with several members of the temple.
Let's go!
I think everyone recognized that there was a potential for danger. We were entering a place where not only were we surrounded by miles of jungle, but we also were in control of Jim Jones and his members. And as a practical matter, it would be hard to get out without their permission.
Make big ashtray.
When we pulled into Jonestown, my first impression was that this place had taken a tremendous amount of work to produce. To make something from scratch
cool off for a second.
in the middle of nowhere was an impressive feat.
The reporters are arriving. Some of them will want to take pictures, so
all right, let me check our hours.
Their picture taken will be excused.
There were hundreds of people around the pavilion, and we were escorted there directly to the Reverend Jim Jones.
Jim, the gentleman of the press at the line, this is Don Harrison, NBC News.
Nice to meet you. Reverend Jones, Tim Radley.
Read many of your stories. I guess you can only print what they tell you.
Oh, we tried to get your side of the story. Haven't had much success. That's why I'm here. Keep mission from
I can almost see the oxygen gauge moving now that we have the third one on there.
He was very cordial, but it was still disturbing to see that
Still at 39:05. It hasn't updated from the 11th
What
still.
really concerned me was the way he spoke.
Why is YouTube like this?
Why did you decide to let us in now, a year after my first request?
What we got to lose? There's no barbed wire here. We don't have 3, let alone 300 that want to leave. We're not violent. We don't do violence to anyone. Ageism, sexism, racism are all been eliminated. Elitism is almost eliminated. We're Marxists in the sense of
I do try.
and in the
I do
distribution
try.
of goods and services.
What about the threats of mass suicide, Reverend?
I only said that it will be better that we commit suicide than kill. Why hurt social progress?
He started speaking in a paranoid fashion about his enemies and began to quietly...
Because he was on amphetamines.
I cursed the day I was born. I don't know why these people hate me so. In some ways I feel like a dying man. You don't need to
feel like a big old slice of butter.
Thank you.
On a pile of flapjacks.
Disturbing to hear him sort of put a figurative gun in the hands of those of us who had come to Jonestown to visit. It was also disturbing to hear someone who had the lives of so many people in his hands speak that way.
Nah, it's nothing to do with the followers. It's just the counter being weird.
Asking
I don't know why.
In my stated
I just gotta be patient. I'm gonna stop saying that it's gonna happen by a certain
I
time.
see someone who I think is the congressman
And
who's
it'll
walking
probably
around
happen.
the perimeter
Oh no, I lost
of
the
the
lids of this
assembly.
pen.
If I passed the note and
This
it
is
was
a good pen,
unsuccessful, I knew I would be killed. There was no doubt about it. I would be.
Oh, found it.
I would be killed.
I was gonna say, I knew I saw it somewhere. I knew I saw it on the ground somewhere. Right, Lucy. Did you take it? Did you take my pen cap from me? Around Brazil and Venezuela, so Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela, and you got the Gulf over here, but then South America swings back around this way with Chile, right? Swings back around this way with Chile. They were underneath Chile, right? So where you could go straight from like the west side of the U.S. straight down, right across the ocean. Here, I'll just look it up.
Introduce you to a very special
And I'll put it on
He
camera.
has represented many of us who lived in his district back in California, and we'd like for you to say a few words to us.
It wasn't until later that I found out that that individual was not the congressman.
Congressman Ryan.
Thank you, Marcel. I'm not used to making public speeches.
Okay, I was close.
I'm very glad to be here. I've already met a former student of mine.
It's oh, come on. Right there. So I had it backwards. I swung it the wrong way. But I was right in it that it's further than almost at Spain. No, that's not where that is. And then it's further than Mexico. Obviously, we said South America, but we said Brazil. Chile is over here. Wait, no, is Chile over here? I'm not even gonna try to fucking geography right now. I didn't know what I was talking about in the first place. But above Brazil, South America, past Cuba. So if you head off Florida and you go past Cuba, you'll make it. Underneath Soggy Waffles, west side of South America. Right. And it's that long stretch on the ocean. Let's see how quickly the oxygen's filling up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've already met a former classmate of one of my daughters from Mills High School in Burlingame. This is a congressional inquiry. I think all of you know that I'm here to find out more about questions that have been raised about your operations here. But I can tell you right now that from the conversations I've had with some of the folks here already tonight, that no matter what the comments are, that there are some people here who believe that this is the best thing that's ever happened to them in their whole lives.
After Ryan spoke, I was approached
Fun
by
fact.
Congressman Ryan.
It's actually off-brand flavor aid that was used.
Did you give this man a note asking him to leave the hotel?
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you, you got seats on the first plane out of here.
Kool-Aid was used at the Heaven's Gate,
no
though.
idea of what he had walked into at all.
amongst
I'm
other
not sure we should wait till tomorrow.
other stuff.
We've got a lot of work to do.
The new Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah.
We'll be fine. For the protection of the U.S. Congress.
And it was apparent after talking to him that he couldn't really conceive the level of danger that he was in.
What? Oh
On that
no.
Saturday, the last day.
The sign fell over and scared Lucy. Wait, how did that happen?
Just how many?
Oh, she bumped into it. That's funny.
Thing is, Ryan told me someone else aside from this Vernon guy first.
Morning out?
Yeah.
What happened, Lucy? Did you get attacked by Trump?
Morning. Sleep all right?
That was the softest hardwood floor a man could ask for.
Marcelin Jones, who
We don't
was
trust it anymore, do
Jim
ya?
Jones' wife, took some of us throughout the encampment.
This is my pride and joy, I don't mind saying. This is the first home to all 33 children born here in Jonestown.
All 33 of them?
Marcelin Jones was clearly proud.
How many of them were fucking
everything
Joneses?
that had been built in Jonestown. The school and the nursery, the clinic that provided health care for children that seemed to be what inspired her and sustained her.
That's a pretty advanced reading.
Those are some pretty advanced kids. Hey. Oh, hi. I'll take them from here, Vernon. I think you're needed back at the pavilion, aren't you? We also have a large nursing staff. Of course, we could always use more. There are almost 300 children here in Jonestown.
Jesus. I didn't know it was that big. Jesus.
Tim, come out. Sends me on. Coffee.
Would you like to see the dispensary?
Excuse me.
Aha, saved it.
Within hours, it became clear that more than just two people who slipped a note to a reporter wanted to come out.
Kool-Aid person? Oh yeah.
There were some entire families who stepped forward and informed the congressman that they wanted to leave with us.
I'm all right. I'm just gonna just say goodbye to some.
And the tension just radiated out from Jones and those groups of potential defectors. The whole place was paralyzed.
Stay put. I'm gonna have a word with you later, all right? You don't go anywhere right now. I want to talk to you and ask you some questions. Why are you doing this? You love her? Huh? No, because you can have a relationship.
We're not lovers.
Just talking to the reporter. All right, they're liars. They're all liars. They don't say anything. Even the ones who lie, they always come back. They always do. Always have a place here. All right.
I signed a document that I was leaving my son there of my own free will. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. I signed it.
You gotta come.
I think you're gonna need another plane.
As time went on, probably about a dozen people had stepped forward and they were insistent on leaving.
My name is Monica Becky. I wish to leave Jonestown of my own free will.
will return to the United States. Is that it?
My name is Vern Guy, and I wish to leave Jonestown of my own free will.
That's his son.
And return to the United States.
I was of a divided mind. On one hand, I thought my son is black and he's going to be subject to the racism of the United States government.
Good for you, at least thinking about that.
I thought that this was the better place for him to be.
Ah, wow. Layers?
I didn't know. I was confused.
What now?
No, we pack up. Truck's leaving soon.
I don't think I ought to go alone.
No, you don't. That lady said she'd go with me. You ought to get someone too.
When the door swung open, there was a number of security guards.
Oh, thank you, Lexi.
Cottage. I was petrified. I was in extreme fear and terror.
What you doing, Vern?
He's packing up. What are you doing? Go ahead, Brad. Pack your things.
Pack your things. Yeah, out of here. Get up on out of here. Such quick oxygen. It's so nice.
Thank you.
As the potential defectors began gathering up their belongings, NBC conducted an interview.
Okay, we take a break just a sec. Like I said, we're taking it easy tonight. That's hot work. I need to pace myself. Both the things we're working on right now are big.
Accomplish what you set out. I'm a perfectionist. I mean, we wanted to fade out the whole arena of public attention, but obviously we haven't because of lies. I never understood how people could lie with such total freedom and conviction.
As the interview went on, Jones grew more and more tense.
That's a lie. It's a lie. Who conspired to kill
I don't use my actual name is Jay.
John Kennedy. Every agency in the whole government is giving us a hard time. Somebody just doesn't like socialism.
That's my name.
I think it was sinking in, if it hadn't already, that this visit was not going to play well outside Jonestown.
You've heard that security guards with guns have gone around to the houses and warned people not
for now,
nobody came to see people with guns. I strictly prohibited guns. You don't have to shoot.
Awesome, my ankle's much better. As long as I don't kick it off again.
I've given my life.
Oh yes, hello,
for
Lucy
people.
dog.
Serving people. Are you people gonna just leave us? I just beg you, please, just leave us. I'm gonna go say goodbye to them then.
Lucy dog. This is all hair.
Shoot the plane down!
I met with my son briefly.
Oh, she would let me put your hair in a ponytail, Lucy.
Well, he wasn't of an age where I could tell him what was happening. I hugged him. I said goodbye to him, and that was the last time that I saw him.
Oh, dang.
I don't know what else to say about that moment.
Damn. Didn't think about that. My hands, not bad. It healed the next day. Had a little bit of a bruise. Oh, hi, Lucy. Oh, yeah.
Back
Got some
anytime.
ham. Got some ham stamps.
Always have a place here. Come back anytime. Visit your son. Okay?
Can't see Lucy.
Come back anytime. Always be welcome here.
Can I just ask you, could I get your reaction on what's going on here today? Did you try to stop anyone from leaving?
No. I feel sorry we're being destroyed from within. All we want is to be left in peace.
He looked somewhat broken and crestfallen, but angry. And what he was saying really was that the defections and some of his members were going to be the undoing and the unmasking of Jim Jones and People's Temple and what was going on inside of Jonestown.
Get out now, I can still make deadline. Where's Ron? He's staying back to help with the rest of the defectors. I mean, there's more. Yeah, well, he's not saying so. Thanks. Everybody ready?
Jim, why are you so upset? There are only 15 people leaving out of nearly 1,000. I mean, if 400 people were leaving, then I'd be worried.
Things were spiraling out of control. There was a crack that had opened, and the crack was continuing to open. Jones was losing control, and the whole community, in my opinion, was going to crack open completely.
It's only 15 people. When I get back, I'm going to report to Congress that of the 60 people cited by the concerned relatives, none of them wanted to leave. They said they were completely happy.
Wait. Hey, ready for one more?
No way we get back here.
Why are you leaving?
Tell you later.
All right.
Jim, this is a wonderful thing you've got going on.
Well, I guess, this changes things, doesn't it?
Some things, not everything.
That convinced the congressman not to stay behind and process any more defectors, that he needed to leave with us on the truck.
Hey, you're bleeding, Congressman.
It isn't mine.
What happened?
Minor disagreements.
We were in serious danger
Hey, what's wrong?
because the congressman was, in some ways, our protector. To see him with blood spattered on his shirt from his assailant and all disheveled showed just how precarious our situation was. I think we wanted to move as quickly as possible down that dirt road and get on a plane with the defectors.
When that truck is pulling away, I have no faith whatsoever that we're going to get out of there.
Saturday, November 18th, I headed out to Temple headquarters in Lamaha Gardens to see my daughter.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going for the perfect size for those. The other ones, like I said, are a little smaller, but this one's perfect for like ice and wine. Gotta have combinations, you know.
We hugged.
Ice and sangria. What is it? The one with fruit in it?
It's wonderful to see her.
I wish you could see the wonderful work, the great work that we do. You see, there's nothing to be concerned about.
And I know she felt the same way to see me.
How long are you thinking of staying?
A couple of weeks. Maybe even a month. We could tour around. You could show me things.
Why don't you
Sangria, thank you.
sit down to dinner? Everything's in the kitchen.
Wait, did I say sangria? Was that right? Sometimes I second guess my brain.
So good to see you again. It's been hard. And I just want to get to know you again. And you me. Would that be all right?
You must be hungry. Come on.
Sangria. Sangria.
Please take care of everyone there.
Everyone, Jim.
Everybody. In Georgetown. Everybody. Relatives too. You take revenge.
I'll have to tell the others.
Things were going bad. We've been
And she
ordered
just
to
goes,
get
yeah,
revenge.
okay.
Revenge meant
Like, what
go
the
out
fuck?
and kill people. Concerned relatives maybe members of the congressman's party, but those who had
Our oxygen machine's already filled up.
considered the worst
That's how quick it is with that third machine.
It just took one spark.
It's time.
It's only been on for like 20 minutes. Not even 20 minutes, right?
To unravel the whole works.
This is from VHS 2, even the siren in the background. An amazing, scary, gory movie. The VHS series, VHS 1, 2, and then, what is it, VHS Online? Trigger warning.
It was heavy, so I'm pulling, and I'm pulling. I'm reeling it in. And finally, I yank it up. It's a tire.
What up, Brennan?
On a tire. Just like in the movies. And there I am, Buster Keaton, looking at it.
Dan, here's a call for you.
We'd just gotten a message, and Leanne came down. Leanne was having dinner with her father, and Leanne was told by Sharon.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm making faces like that. Yeah, I can't read chat from where I'm at.
The orders just
So
go through.
I gotta make an angry face so I can see better.
To die.
Don't be smacking my knees with your ears.
Okay.
She very calmly took the news, and I was just struck by that. Well, this is really real, and
So as of right now, with the trade, we're almost at, or I think we have figured out pretty much everything that's going along with it. 2 more cups would be quite expensive.
girl who's just been told,
especially that size.
End the dinner with your father because we're gonna have to kill ourselves.
But doable.
And I was overwhelmed.
We still have those pendants you wanted to do, the
Just
Halloween
dread and
poker.
fear of what must be going down in Jonestown.
A large shipment of
And
liquid
this
poison
large
with
ashtray
potassium
is
cyanide
also
had been
up there.
delivered earlier to Jonestown. The cyanide was now mixed with sedatives and tranquilizers and added to a
We could always swap out some of the stuff we haven't done yet with those.
I think that
for Dad.
We still have
to
the 3
just gone
pendants and the
found a
dabber.
room somewhere and shot himself.
And the
One,
torso.
I don't
3
think
pendants,
he was
dabber,
capable
and
of
torso.
shooting himself. 2, I don't think he could bear to go alone. His view of existence was so bleak that he thought it was best for everyone to check out.
Oh, wow, yeah.
A handful of people with their lives have made our life impossible.
What happened, Marley?
And we are sitting on a powder keg here, and I don't
Did you
think
scratch your ear
that's
too
what
hard?
we want to do with our
You
baby.
need to stop scratching your ear, Stinky. Did you hurt yourself? Come here, let me see. Lucy, move. You don't need all the attention all the
By the
time.
greatest of prophets from
Quit scratching your ears so hard. You're gonna scratch it off.
No man may take my life from me, but I lay my life down. We have been betrayed. We have been so horribly.
We could swap the torso and
in the matter of a few minutes is that
the poker. We can swap the torso and whatever else. We can still do the 3 pendants if you want to do, what you call it, a larger cup.
And we had better not have any.
We can do a cup with it, but a matching set is up there.
We'll parachute in here on us.
When we got to the airstrip, I still had this feeling of impending doom, that something was going to happen.
I kind of want to make this shorter. I kind of want to cut.
As people were boarding the tractor,
the edge a little bit.
Returned to the airstrip. It was clear to me that there was no real reason for them to be coming back. There might well be trouble.
There is one spot.
It was decided that
I want to touch up with the hand
myself were
torch
going
as
to
well.
go to the small plane, so that plane was boarded first.
Sorry about this, folks. I'm sorry, but let's get safe. Get on the plane.
We wanted to make sure that nobody was getting on either of these 2 planes with weapons, because we didn't really know whether the defectors, in fact, were defectors.
Yeah, you know if they went on the plane and then someone fucking like took the plane out.
Hey, Congressman?
That seems like their plan, right?
Just a moment, please. What's your name?
Larry Lee. Everybody okay?
You shouldn't have announced coming. Seems anybody hooked up. Ryan's checking it, right?
Not gonna let us leave here. Jones, I mean.
We'll be in the air in 5 minutes.
Thank you. That's fine. Good fight.
When do I pick you up tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Whenever you like.
I like 7 in the morning.
Actually, I take that back. So what we're gonna do is make this go in, so it's gonna be up a little bit.
I needed to get away from
Whenever
it. I
we
needed
take
to
that
find
off
out
the handle.
more information, maybe gather ourselves. And with the hope that we would learn something other than the madness we were hearing from Sharon.
Yeah, did you want to do the big
That's what
cup?
Came out from downstairs.
So 3 pendants and cup remaining?
Was, and kissed me goodbye on the cheek.
I just want to thank you.
And when she kissed me goodbye, that was the...
Over here
that was
right
real
now,
good.
we've got the 2 Swamp Friends pieces, this pumpkin with bowl, the Klein Recycler with bowl, ISO station, pendant, bubble cap, and katana. Plus, obviously, the ashtray, and then bigger cup, medium-sized cup. So those torso pendants are up there. They're going to be up there with how much the other pendant that we worked on the other night was, because I put I put time into them's. We can obviously do some for different price ranges, but this one has probably the same amount of time the other one had, so roughly 5 to 6 hours. And again, we can simplify it. I can try to do not so much detail and time. I smell propane. Why do I smell propane? I don't like that I smell propane. Who is it? Which one of you tubes is it? We'll do a large piece of space tech prep, and we'll see how much it ends up being. We'll either do a pair of shot glasses or a larger cup, depending on how much we get out of it. Where did I just put the remote? How do I do this? Why did I put it there? Why would I ever put it back there?
Why? You know, I was feeling rather buoyant overall. You know, we had plans for the
Sweet,
next day.
gotcha. So 3 pendants
Certain inroads.
and
I
big
felt they got
piece
the
of space tech
message.
next.
See you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Tag us this hotel, please.
So I felt very upbeat, and I felt that we're making progress.
Yeah, definitely, Jay. I can for sure not do near the amount of like actual lines in it. And as you can see in the obviously in the reflection and everything of it, there's actual carves into it. I carved the back, the spine lines. I carved like actual like dimples and stuff into that, like back dimples and everything. Again, that was that piece that I was like, I need to prove to myself that I'm an actual artist, and I need to make something that you would see in a museum. And I was like, well, what do you see in a museum? Just like busts. You see torsos, and you see figures. And I was like, well, okay, do something like that, but make sure it's detailed. And I was like, all right, fucking bet. Yeah, flubber. Somebody had mentioned flubber as well, and that would also be fun to explore a sexy flubber.
Back on the plane. He's fine.
We'll take a rip real quick.
Everybody spread out! They're killing everyone!
When was this? Jonestown. (1978). But I think this happened more recently. (1978). Oh, goddamn. What's up, guy?
The gunfire died down. Then there were several.
Do it! You better do it! You gotta feed yourself.
Shots
Especially if
over
you've
the
only had
space.
a monster today.
Maybe a half minute.
Honestly, I thought it was late 80s as well. For sure. Well, they did mention earlier how it was during wartime, or like right after Vietnam.
And then there was silence.
Anyone who has any dissenting opinion, please speak.
Dang, I just realized we might have a problem.
Well, I feel like that as long as there's life, there's hope.
Okay, just kidding. No, we'll be able to take it off.
Someday everybody
I was gonna say this might be bad.
Someday that hope comes out. I'd just like to choose my own kind of a death.
Again, trigger warning, mass
I'm
suicide.
tired of being tormented to hell. That's what I'm tired of.
There's two monsters. Was it two of the same kind?
I ain't ready to die.
The pink
I don't
ones?
think that you are.
But I look about at the babies, and I think they deserve to live.
Oh, the small ones. Okay, I thought they were the tall ones. From the picture, it looked much bigger.
Much more. Don't they deserve peace?
We all came here for peace.
And have we had it?
No.
Just hold on, sister. We made it a beautiful day, and let's make it a beautiful day. That's what I say.
I tried to stop this thing from happening, but now I see it is the will of sovereign being that this happened to us, that we lay down our lives as a protest against what is being done. You know, the criminality of people, the cruelty
See, again,
of people.
like, this isn't a choice.
I know. There is no point. There's no point to this.
Oh, okay. Is that why it looked... Is that why it looked so much bigger? It's because you're small? It looked like a regular can-size monster. Can I scoot this forward without it showing on camera? Because I swear I cannot fucking see chat from a reasonable distance right now. There we go.
The congressman has been murdered.
Sharon Amos was one of the small percentage of the temple membership that
I need to stop going like this, though. I need to stop trying to focus by going like this. It's going to give me wrinkles. It's going to give me forehead wrinkles. I need to relax my forehead.
Certainly, by the end days, she was every bit as sick as my father was. I know that woman loved her children dearly. And this is in no way an explanation or excuse or a defense.
I don't know ring sizes, but that sounds small.
But for her,
especially if they go by numbers, because 3 isn't a very high number.
We give them our children, and our children will suffer forever. We win when we go down.
Average is a 7. I wonder what this one is. How do you measure stuff like that? Is it by millimeters? How did you... I have a whatchamacallit here. Y'all can get a better reference at how big my hands are.
What a legacy. They invaded our privacy. They come into our home.
They've fallen us 6,000 miles away.
20 millimeters?
It's simple. There's no convulsions. It's just simple. Just please get some.
you know, so much of it feels like fate.
Right.
Every
Right at
possible
20.
ingredient that can be thrown into this disastrous recipe.
Maybe, oh no, yeah, right at 20.
You know, you've got my father who's already unraveling.
Are you going to separate yourself from who shot the congressman? I don't know who shot him.
20 millimeters. I don't know what size of ring that would be.
Malnourished, exhausted populace, and people of Jonestown.
Someone let me know.
They were also crazy on some level because of what they've been put through by my father.
Just simple. Just please get some.
Means to relax. Relax my eyebrows. Relax the
And
brow.
who were the first to die? The children were the first to die.
It's about a size 10. 10 to 5. Hell yeah.
I'm telling you, get moving. Get moving.
It's because of my fucking meaty.
I'm sure many people believed that they were
bony
They
knuckles.
were going to come in with force.
I got
and
big
the children
big
were going to
finger
take it from
bones.
them, and they were going to die or suffer greatly.
All they're doing is taking it.
That's good to know, though. I never knew my fucking ring size.
Mother, please, mother, please, mother.
This one's even bigger. Pointer finger.
And some people assure these kids
Big, meaty claws.
And even those that still wanted to get out of it, where were they going to go at that point? How are they going to get out of it? It's about more than, you know, Jim Jones saying, line up and take the poison, it's time to go.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And how does man get a hold of so much fucking liquid cyanide? Like, oh, of course, yeah, I get all the references. And like, why wasn't this a problem? I mean, obviously they had an on-site nurse and everything, but I don't think you're supposed to like be able to have like barrels of that.
Lay down your burden. Don't be afraid to die.
You should have told me to go.
I'm sorry, but like, if I'm that close to somebody with a shotgun, grab barrel, like, very quickly, barrel, and hold on to the barrel so when they fall, you have the gun. Barrel, barrel, do it with me now, barrel, as hard as you can, either right here at the jaw or in the nose, just yeah, right in the middle of the face. And make sure to hold on to the gun. Especially if it's a fucking long barrel weapon. Like, you're gonna stand in front of me like that, I'm gonna fucking pop you in the throat and then tear your balls off with my teeth. Like, if it's life or death.
What happened here?
Either that or I'll give up completely and just be like, nah, it's not even worth it, man. The two sides of that coin.
Lay down your life with dignity. Don't lay down with tears and agony. I tell you, I don't care how many screams you hear. I don't care how many angry cries. Death is a million times preferable to 10 more days of this life. If you knew what was ahead of you, if you knew what was ahead of you, you'd be glad to be stepping over. If we can't live in peace,
that's
then
wild.
Let's die in peace. It took 1,000 people to say we don't like the way the world is.
And nobody was like, okay, well, what's coming though?
We laid it down, we got tired.
Well, what's gonna happen? Why is this better? I mean, obviously some people did. We saw them represented. You're FBI guy. And I don't like how they chose a white man to represent them for this documentary. For whatever reason. I mean, obviously, he was of the fairer skin, but he was definitely not
After a while,
white.
I
Just like I'm white, but not white, you know?
started to work my way back to the airstrip. Wanted to see what had happened.
Don't let them see me get a tan. They'll be like, oh shit, no more white privilege for you. I'm being serious. I'm joking about trauma right now. I'm not ridiculing the concept of it. I'm highlighting the double-edged sword that is white passing.
Bodies.
Especially when it's only partially.
It appeared from the wounds of some of them that temple members had gone around and finished them off with shots to the head.
So there's obviously levels of like
NBC.
Psychosis too, not just
Congressman Ryan,
Stockholm syndrome, but to go around
Greg Robinson,
and to do that afterward. There's definitely layers of psychosis too.
Parks,
which
the defectors, all of them were dead.
To get swayed into or get persuaded into a cult, underlying factors like that are often present. So it does make
During the
sense.
ambush at the airstrip, 5 people were murdered, including Congressman Leo Ryan.
That's a real picture.
11
Wow.
others were wounded but survived, including Ryan's aide, Jackie Spear, and defector Monica Bagby.
Jones sent gunmen to the airstrip to kill the congressman and others so that he could then turn to his followers and say, no country, no place wants
Now we
us
have to,
any longer
pretty much,
because
right?
some of our people have now killed the congressman.
And they're going to look at us all as these people. Because that's what we presented ourselves as, right?
Till
Interesting.
the last possible minute, we cleaned to
No, hey, Lexi, I gotta check it out. Your ring maker on that one was probably like, yes. Or it was probably like, fuck. I don't know if that would be easier or harder to work with, you know?
She
Smaller surface?
that her children were going to be taken to horrible circumstances, and that death was better
Yeah, Jake.
for them.
Well, especially with the Stockholm Syndrome layers added in as well. If you're getting preferential treatment by the ringleader, you'll do horrible things. I mean, regular Stockholm Syndrome.
It's horrible.
But given a position of power like the Stanford prison experiment, if y'all know what that is.
A daughter for a mother.
Another one we should watch, or another
What I learned later
study we should look into.
was that they actually killed each other by slitting each other's throats.
Alright, let's see if I can get a hold of this. Who did?
I came to.
Oh, Jones and his wife did? Or Jones and the lady did?
Because it was dark. I could hear people walking through the bushes. What it was, in fact, was people looking for survivors.
Only a handful of temple members inside Jonestown survived. Some escaped into the jungle. 76-year-old Hyacinth Thrash had hidden under her bed.
Bigger is easier. Wait, you did a research paper on this Jonestown or on Stockholm Syndrome? Either way, great topic. There's many cases of Stockholm. That's another one we should watch. Cases of Stockholm Syndrome. Well, I mean, obviously the first one that comes to mind is Charles Manson, which obviously we need to get into as well. And the Tate LaBianca murders. And Orange Sunshine and the MK Ultra mind control experiments. That'll be a long one. I have a lot of very niche knowledge when it comes to that. We'll listen to some Beach Boys songs. MK Ultra, Project Artichoke, Project Avocado.
People I've known my entire life, and the dearest person on the planet to me, which was my mother.
Nice.
She resisted and physically restrained until the last child died, and then she walked up and took the poison herself.
So she was as fucked as he was.
I've never grieved his death. I remember feeling disgust that he didn't go the way everybody else went. Not only did he have to be shot in the head, but he had to have somebody else do it. And
Wow, what a little.
Because he couldn't bear to go out the way he was seeing other people go out.
We need to watch the end of World War II, the conspiracy about Hitler escaping as well.
For the entire incident, I blame Jim Jones. It's as if he was determined to make sure nobody won. If he wasn't
You do stained glass? I've always wanted to try stained glass. Kind of goes, I wouldn't say it goes hand in hand, but it's similar. Glass.
And they were my family.
Kiln, even though stained glass doesn't use a kiln, right?
Just really few wonderful,
There you go, Lexi.
good people who wanted to make a positive change in the world.
Sweet. We finished those two things. What time is it? It's only 1 o'clock.
Jonestown.
I don't really want to. I don't know if I want to put this entire thing in the kiln, just like this. Actually, it's mostly clear. It'll be fine. We'll put this in the kiln here in a sec. I need to run to the bathroom real quick first.
It happened because Jim Jones didn't want word to get out to the outside world.
Was he white? He kind of looks
What was going
Filipino
on
to me. He looks
inside
like
his
almost
community.
Italian.
He didn't want the defectors to tell their stories, and they didn't want the reporters to tell their stories, and he didn't want the congressman to tell his story.
The first time I thought about the consequences of Jonestown and what had happened when I was in a military hospital in Puerto Rico, and a military psychiatrist came to speak to me and tell me that my son was dead. The loss of my son has been the most difficult thing in my life to deal with. My sense of remorse, my sense of guilt, my going back to that moment a million times and making a different decision. To find some level of peace and some level of forgiveness has been the most challenging thing for me.
I love my daughter very much. I've lost her. I'm
suffering,
truly suffering with the grief of that. All these, for years.
I wanted to try crocheting as well, but we've talked about
holding on to the grief as if
the necessity to not buy new art supplies.
And I came to see that I could hold my daughter as a loving memory forever. And let the grief go.
There were a lot of reasons I think that people ended up taking the poison. I don't know who took it, who was injected. I think more than anything, it was out of loyalty to everybody else there. In my case, if I had been there, I know I had a strong will to live, but I think that it was so important to me, or how I was perceived by the people of my community was so important to me, that it might have taken me to my death. Ask yourself, what would someone have to tell you? Or what would someone have to do to you to get
We
you
did
to
a
do
stemless
something
wine
that
glass,
you
an
couldn't
ashtray,
possibly believe you were capable
and now we're
of?
doing the second stemless wine glass.
Learn from it. Don't judge it. Don't stand separate from it. Be willing to stand in the shoes of the people you're judging. And I hope that, 900 plus people, that they died, and the way they died, might offer us something so that their lives won't be in vain.
Didn't I say I was gonna go get water? April 2002. Wonder what they're doing now, 20 years later. Oh, Liz. Vernon is a police officer living in Hawaii. Good for them. Imagine just being like, yeah, I'm Jim Jones' son. Like, what? Yeah, that Jim Jones. Heaven's Gate or Heaven's Gate, the Tate LaBianca murders with Charles Manson. We could also do the Richard Ramirez case. There's John Wayne Gacy right there. Oh, you know it's a good one? Is it Natalie Lamb? Waco? I need to look into that one and see which one we'll watch, but I want to watch this one first. Because Waco is similar to what we just watched, I want to shake it up a little bit. The disappearance of Natalie Lamb. Right? Is it Natalie Lamb? Natalie Lamb, Natalie Lynn. Hang on, I'll look it up. Eliza Lamb. Oh, fuck me. Oh, I saved it with my foot. Eliza Lamb. Which is a good one. And this one involves the Cecil Hotel as well. Damn, that one's an hour long. I don't think we want to do... Oh wait, are they all that long? Fuck it. Let's go all in. Good for you, putting together an entire hour compilation.
Severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, your day can be full of reminders.
Sitting on a toilet. Jesus. Sorry to fast forward through your intro. I'm sure it's super interesting.
Perfect idea, perfect unique kind of present for somebody to show that you actually know who they are.
Especially if it's fucking sponsored content, hun. I like her makeup though.
The Elisa Lam case is so enormous and blew up to such crazy proportions. You have to understand where she died, which was the Cecil Hotel. So let's talk a little bit about the Cecil Hotel first. Today, it's called the Stay on Main.
Yeah, they changed the name of it, did y'all know? And they painted over the side of the Cecil Hotel, the Cecil Hotel on the side.
Just steps away from LA's Skid Row.
So this is new.
The term
Cool.
Skid Row, or Skid Road, originated as a way to describe the way loggers used to transport their logs to the river by sliding them down greased skids on the streets. The logger would then wait at the bottom of the hill for transportation back up to the logging camp. Since the men sliding these logs down to the river to help construct the railroads were typically poor immigrants, and new businesses in the area would pop up to cater to their needs, like speakeasies and brothels, Skid Row became a term that law enforcement used to describe areas in the city where people with no money and nothing to do gathered and lived. The area in LA covers 50 city blocks east of downtown LA and contains one of the largest stable populations of homeless people in the United States. Los Angeles is currently in the midst of what has been called a homeless crisis, and in my opinion, it seems that the crisis is less about how many people have encountered life situations
Oh no, I ate all my
homeless,
goldfish last night.
and more about how the non-homeless population of the city don't like the presence of these homeless people. Skid Row literally looks like a neighborhood filled with tents, garnished by parking and bicycles. They're supposed to disassemble their tents during the day, but the city has a hard time enforcing this policy. And if you guys have been following me on social media, like Instagram or Twitter, you would know that I went to Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago, and I saw for myself the state of the homeless population in the city.
Be careful what you say next.
These people have no place to live, right? So they have to live in tents, or basically whatever structure that they can find. They'll erect their tents at night so they have a place to sleep, but the city of Los Angeles expects that by the time the sun rises, they should disassemble their homes, basically, and move on or just disappear and not be seen during the day so it doesn't bother the tourists or the pedestrians who are walking. They're not trying to walk around tents. It's just a really bad situation. I understand why the city would
I went in there, didn't even get more water.
Just hanging out in the streets, but I also understand how difficult it is for somebody who faces these circumstances to have to basically pick up their entire life every morning and then just wander.
All right, yeah, good for you. We will continue to watch your video.
The LAPD and the city's politicians have
careful how you talk about homeless.
is to arrest them and try to chase them off. But they have nowhere to go, so when the dust is settled or they get let out of jail, they go right back. LA tried to rehabilitate the area by clearing out the abandoned buildings and getting rid of the decayed buildings. And
great makeup and talking about recidivism.
The Skid Row area was an official containment zone where the city's homeless population would be tolerated. In September of 2005, it was discovered that the city's law enforcement and hospitals had essentially been dumping people in Skid Row who were down on their luck and had no place else to go. So they were just adding to the homeless population of this area. So LA was basically like, we don't want homeless people, get out of here homeless people, and then they were like, oh, no matter what we do, they're still homeless people. So we'll just make a containment zone as if they were infected and throw them in this containment zone. And anyone we come across who can't pay for their medical bills or seems like they are on a bad path, we're just gonna dump them in there too. I just feel like it would be so much easier and cause the city so much less frustration.
I appreciate them using their platform to talk about this.
Maybe rehabilitate them, thus allowing the citizens of LA to feel more comfortable when walking down the street so they don't have to see the sadder side of life, and it can give some of these homeless residents a chance to possibly move on.
So simple, right?
The Cecil Hotel was built in...
Oh, I love that! Oh, can we just take a minute and just... Good for you, Stephanie Harlow, taking the opportunity to fold recidivism and homeless problem in with the problems of the Cecil Hotel. Wow! And how they're trying to bulldoze over that by renaming it and revitalizing just this area, but not Skid Row. Yes. I like it.
A man named William Bangs Hanner, who worked alongside Lloyd Lester Smith, an architect, for almost a decade. The two men envisioned an opulent hotel where wealthy businessmen...
Yeah, Dishonored, that contributes to the recidivism as well. Same thing with laws around pets. Most of it is just aimed at unhoused people. If you don't have an address, you can't fucking... How are you supposed to go in and either pay for the ticket or fight the ticket if they require, one, a form of ID and a place of address, and the ID also requires a place of address, and you can't use a homeless shelter for those things. It all plays into recidivism and legalized slavery through the privatized prison system. Prison system, as System of a Down says. And I appreciate that they tied that into the topic here, because the Cecil Hotel is a hotbed for recidivism. How they tied that in just there is beautiful, in saying that this was right next to Skid Row, and at the time was a very, very cheap place to live, and ended up being a very dangerous place because of it. And crime and these things kind of folded over, because Skid Row getting looked over by the police meant this would also get looked over by police, because they're like, that's just the area, sorry. So, very, very interesting, and I appreciate that they folded in recidivism and responsibility being placed on the fucking actual problem, being them not actually doing anything about it or spending any money on it and actually trying to help the people, instead of just going, oh no, homeless people, oh no, crime. It's like, yeah, that.
They made the building as tall as was legally allowed in those
yeah,
days.
P.O. boxes,
Inside
homeless
in the Renaissance
shelters, can't
revival
use any of them.
Nothing but the best materials were used for this hotel. Marble in the lobby, alabaster statues throughout, and stained glass on the windows. And in fact,
Good,
after it
Lexi.
opened in
Now you can
1947
relax.
and through the 1940s, the Cecil was a destination for high-class travelers and visitors to the city. But after the Great Depression, LA saw an influx of men headed west to try and improve their circumstances. And many of them ended up on Skid Row. Slowly, the area turned into a place that a self-respecting businessman would not feel safe venturing into, and as a result, the Cecil changed as well. It stayed a hotel, but they could no longer charge luxury rates. In order to keep the doors open, they had to basically open the doors to
Hell yeah,
anyone who
Lexi.
could
It's like
afford to
it's like
pay
you're
the
cured.
regular nightly
It's like I
rate
said
they could
earlier.
afford to charge.
I made phone calls today and yesterday, and I got no more mental illness now.
Instead of well-dressed businessmen lounging in the lobby and sipping martinis at the bar, prostitutes, drug addicts, and criminals called
My
the
kind of
Cecil
people.
home. But what the Cecil is most famous for nowadays is being the place that American Horror Story used as inspiration for the hotel in the season aptly named American Horror Story Hotel. The reason the Cecil was featured on American Horror Story was because this wasn't just a hotel that had encountered some bad luck of being built in the wrong place at the wrong time. It seemed like this hotel had a long history of strange deaths happening inside of its walls that tracked back as far as the 1930s. The first recorded death to have happened at the Cecil Hotel was Manhattan Beach resident W.K. Norton, a 46-year-old man who checked in under a fake name, and a week later his body was found after he ingested poison. Less than a year later, a 25-year-old man was found by a maid after suffering a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In the summer of 1934, a retired Army sergeant cut his own throat with a razor blade in the hotel. In 1937, a woman named Grace Magro either fell or was thrown from the window of her hotel room at the Cecil. Her fall was interrupted by various telephone lines, and she had to be taken to the hospital, where she later died from her injuries.
Oh, no shit.
In 1938,
Didn't die on
a fireman
impact.
jumped from his room on the top floor of the Cecil Hotel after staying there for several weeks. In the spring of 1939, a 39-year-old
Gaslighting you in the good way, mocking you until you eat.
In September of 1944, a young woman named Dorothy Jean Purcell was staying at the Cecil with a shoe salesman named Ben Levine. She woke up with a horrible stomachache and went into the bathroom, only to find, to her shock, that she had been pregnant and was now giving birth to a baby.
What?
Not wanting to wake up her partner, she had the baby in the bathroom, but claimed the child was a stillborn and threw him out of the window. In November.
And then commercial just right after that? No way. What a fucking time for a commercial. And it's a kid's commercial. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have a very dark sense of humor. That's fucking hilarious.
1947, another man jumped to his death from a window.
The irony, not what happened to the fucking
October
kid.
1954,
The irony
a
that that,
named
let's be
Helen
specific.
Gurney from San Francisco jumped out of her 7th floor window and landed on the hotel's marquee. She had been checked in under a fake
Goddamn.
name as well. In February of 1962, a 50-year-old Julia Frances Moore jumped from a window of her 8th floor room. And later that year, in October of 1962,
Dude just spawned.
27-year-old Pauline Otten jumped out of the window of her room at the Cecil
Spawn
Hotel
camp.
after having an argument with her husband. She jumped from the 9th floor and she landed on a man who was walking by the hotel. They both died on impact. In December of 1975,
What a bad day.
Still unidentified, jumped from the window of her 12th floor room after staying at the Cecil Hotel for
You just
4
go,
weeks.
ah.
And it's not just the high occurrences of people taking their own lives. There was murders and other strange occurrences there as well. On June 4, 1964, a 79-year-old retired telemarketer named Goldie Osgood was attacked, beaten, and assaulted before being stabbed to death in her room at the Cecil. People who knew her called her Pigeon, and she was given this nickname because she was well known.
A cup of mac and cheese? Do you mean like in an actual cup or like a measurement?
A man was seen walking through Pershing
Oh
Square
shit,
in
my sign
blood-stained
almost
clothing
fell over there.
and was arrested for her murder.
Scared the fucking out of me. I was like, why?
And her violent murder remains unsolved to this day. And in the 1980s, while in the midst of a killing spree, Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, lived at the Cecil Hotel
I was gonna mention that too.
in 1985. There are
I don't see how people
reports
thought he
that
was good
returned
looking.
to the hotel after
Okay, maybe in that picture.
strip off his blood-stained clothes.
But then as
by
soon
the
as he
dumpster,
opens his
toss
mouth-
them in, and then walk into the lobby in his underwear,
Ah,
or sometimes completely
latosis.
naked. When you read about this portion of the story, Richard Ramirez stripping off his clothes, throwing them into the dumpster of the Cecil Hotel before walking into the lobby in his underwear or naked, it's literally explained
Fast
like
Mac?
this. The Cecil
Oh,
Hotel
okay,
chaotic
a
shit
cup
show,
of Mac. I see what you're
then
saying.
nobody even raised an eyebrow.
The
Nobody
microwavable
thought that
ones?
him walking into the hotel naked was strange at all. And that gives you an idea of how far the Cecil Hotel fell from this marble and alabaster oasis to a place where you would literally see people just overdosed in the hallways. And serial
And naked
killers could
Richard
just walk
Ramirez
through the
just
lobby
walking around.
naked without anybody even questioning it. Or
Like,
even
damn it,
looking up.
got another one.
Drug of choice at that time.
Richard,
In 1991,
Richard.
an Austrian
Put your clothes on, Richard.
named Jack Unterweger
Go brush your
checked into
teeth.
the Cecil, allegedly working on a story about crime in LA. He used his credentials to get in with the LAPD and to join them on ride-alongs, which
Any custom pieces are gonna be through Instagram, but no
guy, and this is a little detour from the story of
that
Lisa
you need to
Lam
not
and
waste my
Cecil,
time.
But it is true crime related.
And we have
it's
almost
super
a
interesting,
minimum
So just come with me
and
off
cut the
our
price for
rehab
customs.
and onto a little side path here for a minute. When he was 25,
Message me and straight up be like, hey, I've got this much, I want to get this.
Her own bra. Well, he was a great
this
prisoner.
and
He was
this
a
and
model
this.
prisoner. Now keep in mind,
As much
guys,
as I want to
he
have
was a
full
model
conversations
prisoner,
with all
but he
y'all,
strangled a
unfortunately I
woman
cannot.
with her own bra.
Which is also
And
why we
he
have
sentenced to life in
Discord, but
prison.
I don't want y'all doing
So while he's in prison, he becomes like this prolific
details
writer,
of what you're
and he
paying
writes
for your
poems
pieces and whatnot in
books
Discord.
And an autobiography that is later turned into a movie. The European Arts Committee got behind him and started petitioning for his release. A man who's serving life in prison
Richard
after
Ramirez?
strangling a woman with her own bra. And apparently the arts community in Europe at that time had some pull because he did get released after serving only 15 years of a life sentence. But wait, there's more.
He
didn't
did?
just get released, like good luck out there. His new popularity got him a new job, a television host. Okay, so I mean, let's recap really quick.
Richard Ramirez?
Murderer, life in prison, arts community is like, nah, he's a good guy, he's a good guy. Released after 15 years of a life
Damn it,
sentence.
arts community.
Now he's got a fancy new job. He's a television host. He's a journalist. And within a year, he's back out on the streets again, strangling women with their own bras. Are any of us really surprised by this? Really? I mean, probably the European arts community was surprised, like, oh man, bad call. But
Oh, man,
nobody
darn.
logically could be surprised
Dang it.
that this man would go on to kill again after being released from prison. So Jack comes to LA. He's pretending he's a journalist and he's doing a story on the Cecil Hotel. And he gets in good with LAPD, he's doing ride-alongs with them.
Thank you.
And during his stay at the Cecil Hotel, he took 3 women's lives. And there's a whole big story behind Jack Unterweger. And if you guys want me to do a video on him, I would love to, because it's such an interesting story. So let me know in the comments.
Jack,
Or maybe I'll put a
not
poll up.
Jack
Let me know if you want me to do a
Who?
video on Jack
Not-
Unterweger. It might
Oh,
be
not
nice to
Richard
listen to our
Ramirez.
serial killers segment, but let's move on. And without fail, whenever you hear a story about the Cecil Hotel, you will hear, without fail,
Richard
that Elizabeth
Ramirez.
Short to the Black Dahlia stayed there in the days before she was killed.
Oh, the Black
And I'm
Dahlia,
here to
yeah.
tell you that there's absolutely no proof or evidence that exists to say that Elizabeth Short ever stayed at the Cecil Hotel or even walked through the doors of its lobby. Now, could she maybe have been there at one point?
I
Maybe
need
she
to
met somebody
read
there for a drink
WD-40
in the years
this
or
thing.
months before she died. But
Like my
there's no
pants, thank
witnesses
you.
who saw her at the Cecil
Wait, where did I put
Hotel.
the fucking
There's nothing to prove
WD-40?
that she was there in the days
Got it.
before her death which would connect the
Yeah, these
Cecil
are
Hotel
some of
to
my
her death.
favorite
But when you talk
pants.
about Los Angeles in this
They're
time
like
period,
jorts,
the 1940s,
but they also have really
and you
big
talk
pockets.
about
They're
creepy
not
things
big
or
pockets,
haunted
but they have
hotels,
pockets.
without
And they have
fail,
a,
Red Valley is going
wait,
to
do
find
they not
itself
have a back
somehow
pocket? I
intertwined
thought
with
these
the
had back
story,
pocket.
but there's absolutely no proof that that ever happened, and this is the kind of journalism and reporting that drives me crazy, because I hate when people report these fabrications.
Yeah, definitely want to have an
Almost
Instagram if you
everything I
want
read
any
online
of my
about
work
this
as well, because I
Cecil
post
Hotel
most of it
find a
there.
way to weave the Red Valley
Auctions
in.
and
It gives
different
it
pieces that are
that
available.
Hollywood
There's an auction
kind
going right
of
now, actually,
haunted,
as
spooky
well.
vibe, and I understand why they do it, but I'm here to set the record straight. No proof, no evidence. Let's move on. So now we come to Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old college student from Vancouver, Canada, who
Oh,
decided
I
to
love
go
that smell.
on a solo trip of the West Coast in January
Smells like
of
childhood trauma.
2013. Her first stop had been in San Diego, and then she was going to head on to LA and then Santa Cruz. But unfortunately, Elisa would never make it to Santa Cruz. A few days into her stay in Los Angeles, she disappeared. And weeks later, her body was found in a water tank on the roof of the Cecil Hotel.
In a fucking
How
water tank.
did this happen? As always, to understand what happened at the end, we have to go back to the beginning. Elisa arrived in LA on January 26th.
That'll how
The
you'll
same day
be able to
she
get the
made
Discord as
online
well.
reservations
Just message
at the
me
Cecil
and I can give you
Hotel.
the invite
She
link
made a
for the Discord
reservation
too.
for 3 nights to check in on January 28th and to check out on January 31st. Now I looked around online everywhere and I could find no answer to this, so if any of you know more about this case or have an answer to this, please let me know. Where did Elisa stay between her arrival in LA on January 26th and the day she checked into the Cecil on January 28th? I
2
talked
days.
to John Lorden about it, and he said, nobody really knows. It may be in the police
So-
documents.
The main thing about this is most people just say she had a psychotic break. Somebody had drugged her, psychotic break. Everyone pretty much, or the end consensus of this is unfortunately mental illness, and she did it to herself. But there's just so many. You'll see.
They probably do.
So
What we're
when they're
talking
saying
about-
this, I'm like, well, she got there, and there's no record of her staying anywhere. And then she was on the streets for 2 days before this.
The LAPD here, and we're going to get more in depth on the LAPD's role in this. So they're not letting anybody else know. They're not releasing
Oh,
that
thank you.
information.
Thank you,
Many
thank you.
people have used the Freedom of Information Act.
We got
to
more
request
veins
the Elisa
running
Lam
through them now
case file,
too.
and as far as I know, nobody's ever gotten it. So Lisa was very active online. She was very active on websites like Blogspot and Tumblr. And her
Anybody
social
with
media accounts
bipolar
appear to
depression
remain
knows
as
that manic
is. They haven't been
episodes,
taken down. They haven't
especially
been edited.
exacerbated by
They
substances,
are
can
as
get
they were
especially
on the day she died. So you can look through
wild
her thoughts
looking.
and feelings. And on Tumblr, I found a post where she says this: I have arrived in La La Land, and there is a monstrosity of a building next to the place I'm staying. When I say monstrosity, mind you, I am saying as in gaudy. But then again, it was built in 1928, hence the Art Deco theme. So yes, it is classy, but then since it's LA, it went on crack. Fairly certain this is where Baz Luhrmann needs to film The Great Gatsby. Tumblr, unfortunately,
Sounds like
has no
manic-
dates attached
manic
to
words.
posts, which is really stupid in my opinion. Just another reason why Tumblr is really stupid. But we can assume that she's referring to the Cecil Hotel. She talks about this monstrosity of a building that was decorated in the Art Deco style. She said it was gaudy, that it was built in 1928,
There's a
that it had
fucking-
the gaudy
is that a
Art
scratch?
Deco
What
theme,
is
and
this?
this sounds a lot like the Cecil Hotel. So using that information,
scratch?
we can
Is it
only
burnt?
guess that she must have been staying in those 2 days,
Is that
someplace
burnt in there
close to the Cecil, in a
from
close enough
glass,
proximity where
maybe?
she could
Probably.
either see the Cecil Hotel from the
Dang it,
window of
that's
her
gonna bother
current
me.
hotel, or she was
There's
walking
a little
by
spot
on
on
a
the
regular
TV.
basis.
Y'all probably can't
And
see
maybe
it.
that's what
Or
prompted
maybe
her
you
to
can now
get
that I
online
pointed
and
it
get
out.
reservations at the Cecil Hotel, being interested in how it looked and wanting to see it on the inside. Maybe after seeing the Cecil Hotel and writing about it online, she did some research on the Cecil Hotel and found out that it has this kind of creepy history, and maybe she kind of wanted to see for herself if the stories about it being haunted was true. So I went on Google Earth, and as far as I can tell, there's no hotels
What?
directly next to the Cecil.
Gonna
There
need a new
seems to
torch
be
eventually.
A building
I think
right
this
next
one-
door to the Cecil that had a
Or I need to
pool
try to
on
clean-
its
clean the
top.
ports
But
better.
when I looked around it using Google Earth, I couldn't find any signage that said it was a hotel, so it might be an apartment building now. Who knows? When I went to LA, I did go to the Cecil Hotel, but I completely forgot to kind of walk around and check to see if there was hotels with
Oh, gotcha.
That would have been
I was
a
like,
good
wait,
thing to
didn't
do.
see what?
But just giving you the information, the closest hotel looks like it's the Baltimore Hotel, which would be about a 3-minute walk away. Regardless, I wish I knew. I think the police do know. Hopefully one day we'll find out. So Lisa checked into the Cecil Hotel on the 28th, and initially she was
Elisa
assigned
is her
to
name.
a
That's why I thought it was
hostel-style
Lisa
sharing
Lamb.
room with 3 other people on the 5th floor. But 2 days later, she was moved to a private room, still on the 5th floor. Her roommates had cited odd behavior as the reason for her move. And that's the only way I've ever heard her behavior described by anyone in those 2 days. There's no interviews with these roommates, no specific things that she said or did, which I personally find odd. Because it doesn't appear that these people that she shared a room with were ever interviewed by police or the press.
Sharing
This
a
was a big
room with
case that
someone?
broke, and you'd think that the last people who had seen her and who
Yeah.
literally lived with her for 2 days before she disappeared and ended up in the water tank on top of the hotel, they would have been spoken to. The press would have tracked them down at least. Maybe they were long gone by the time her body was found weeks later. Maybe nobody could track them down. Well, you would think that the police
Well, it
would
is
get
Skid
the
Row
hotel's
as well.
logbooks and find out who had stayed in a room with her and maybe track them
Fake
down.
names,
They
nobody's
traveled
putting a
to
name
the
at that
country
room,
and
you
asked
know?
them specifically what it was about Elisa's behavior that was odd. To my knowledge, that never happened. Once again, the police may have done that. They may have it in their report, but we don't know. Now, Elisa was a young girl, and of course, her parents were worried about her traveling alone, especially in a different country. But she insisted to them that this was the way it needed to be. She was a girl who was always searching for something. Self-awareness, human connection, answers to all those tough metaphysical questions we have that sometimes keep us up at night. But browsing through her social media, something else stands out. It seems Elisa Lamb was struggling with some kind of mental illness. On August 8th of 2010,
I was gonna say, the way that she's done all this so far,
for the past 2 days,
I think she's
and
gonna
my
tell
belief
the whole
shakes when I
story.
stand. I'm not sure if it
So most people will be like, in here you see what could possibly be a ghost. And it's just like, no, stop. It's interesting enough without
This is kind of
embellishment.
A whole story. Because what is this?
It's already a very, very interesting story. You don't need to do all the
You can always get
fucking,
more of what you love for less. Because the best things in life don't
all
cost
the
a
ghost
fortune.
files.
They're found. Calm guns.
And if you slow the video down here, you can see what could be
vertigo,
an arm.
but I do not feel stable even when sitting. It also gets hard to focus at times. I can't seem to process the whole scene, almost like
I like
tunnel
this one
vision
a lot.
on a handheld camera.
Admittedly, this one
And
came
in
together a
April
little
of
bit better than the other
2012,
one.
She wrote, I spent about 2 days in bed hating myself. The next month, she wrote, I believe the biggest reason why I got depressed was because I stopped running in my last year of high school. Up until
Yeah,
that point,
manic
I was
depression,
on the
see?
cross country and track and field team. Mind you,
Hating
I
yourself
wasn't a
one
very good
month,
runner, but
and
I
then
didn't.
being
I lacked
completely
the
okay the next
self-discipline
month,
to actually train.
while it's okay
Now
to not be
I'm
okay
still lacking
sometimes,
self-discipline
is
to
not
run or
normal.
do any sport. And throughout that same month, she continued to write about
Especially if you
herself,
haven't done
her
anything
depression,
differently in
her
that
sport,
month, and you're just
and
like,
her life
oh,
in general.
well now I'm okay.
I feel I am wasting my time compared to my fellow peers. I had a relapse at the start of term and had to drop 2 of
drugs.
the 3 courses I was
Relapse.
taking. Now I am down to 1
Skid
course.
Row,
and I've
drugs,
missed
mental
3
illness.
weeks of classes since my sleeping pattern is completely reversed. I am a bit defeated because I have far too much free time and no one
You just
to
notice,
spend it with.
notice
And
Morty in the
maybe this-
background. We've got Rick and Morty back there. And what's wild is this is official merch. And they look weird, right? They look like they're from like the Muppet dimension. We got Rick and Morty.
Disappointed in myself for breaking down during the term, forcing me
What
to
time is
withdraw
it?
from
Almost
courses.
2 o'clock?
I've been at
We'll finish
university
this
for 3
and then we'll be
years
done
and
for the
only
night.
managed to complete 3 courses. That means I've been a
Glad you like it,
college
Lexi.
student for 3 years.
Yeah, that one turned out really
I feel
nice.
so utterly directionless and lost. It's likely that this trip to California was an effort for a young girl who felt so very directionless and lost to find direction or to stimulate the creativity she wanted so badly.
And then got offered
she
drugs.
loved fashion and posted incessantly about it on Tumblr, but she also was down on herself for not being able to take this passion and do anything more with it than talk about it on social media. She went between
Yeah, it's
feeling
Rick and Morty
very
from the
alone
Muppets dimension.
and wanting to be alone. She says that she has so much free time and no one to spend it with.
Why is
but later,
Morty's face
she
like
would
that?
write that being around a lot of people was
I thought I
exhausting.
booped one of the
Before
dogs
she
in
left
the
for
nose.
California, it seems she had a party where her friends and family could come and say goodbye to her and wish her luck. She wrote online, "I had a catch-up reunion with high school/elementary people and a sort of bon voyage soiree. And I'm fatigued, exhausted, in recovery for throwing it and just seeing so many people and doing so many stupid, idiotic things in the last 4 days. But I am very full of, I suppose the term would be, as Dumbledore says, love. Because last night was evidence that I do have amazing, beautiful things in my life. And even though
This is
everyone's
manic-
busy
this is
about
manic
doing great
speech.
things, they do care about me. I'm not a professional, depressed person. I am so much more than that. And these people are reminders that I am very lucky. Life is long and difficult, and people will
Not
always be
trying.
stupid and complain. But it's worth it as long as you
Not trying to take away from what they're saying, because it is actually pretty beautiful words, but it is things that you put on paper while not in the right state of mind, I guess you would say. But a lot of the best writing is when that happens.
have special moments.
Right,
There will be
Lucy.
lots of these moments in the future and have been a lot in the past. So what if everything is shit and all the plans have gone to hell? If I ask for help, someone might be willing to spare a hand.
So what if everything is shit and all the plants have gone to hell? That specifically is manic writing. It's beautiful, but wouldn't make any sense to anybody who hasn't been manic before or knows exactly what the fuck she's saying.
And this is textbook introvert behavior and thought process. We enjoy
hi, Marley.
being with others. We appreciate that others want to be with us, but we don't like huge social gatherings, and we really hate small talk too. It physically and mentally drains us, and
Yeah.
we have to retreat to a quiet and more peaceful
Oh,
place to
Marley.
recharge. An introvert is given life and energy in those quiet moments where they're able to be creative and write or read or reflect on things. But society is often telling us that being alone is weird and it makes us reclusive, and that we should want to be with people.
I knew
and
I
we
liked
should
her.
want to socialize with as many people as possible, because normal humans love social interaction. We're social beings. It
Look,
causes those of us who prefer to stay at home and be alone or just with a small group
Sorry
of
for the
people
delay,
like our
sending your
immediate
piece out,
family to
Kel. I'm
feel
gonna get
more
those out
connected.
tomorrow.
And it makes us feel like we should make more of an effort to step outside
I wanted to
our
make sure I
box
had something
and
to
do
send
the
it in that's
things
gonna be
that society is
nice
saying
and
we should be
safe
doing until we
for all
actually
those little
do them,
pieces.
and then we're like, screw this. I don't care if society thinks I'm weird. I'm going back to my house and watching Netflix. And it's honestly very sad because Elisa Lam was a girl that I could understand, and I think a lot of us could understand. And in going through her social media very extensively, I began to feel connected to her. I began to feel like I wanted to reach out to her and give her a hug. And then I remembered I couldn't because she's no longer with us. Elisa had been diagnosed with bipolar depression, and it didn't seem like it was something she was coping with well, especially after graduating from high school and starting college. And she says, life is long and difficult, and people will always be stupid and complain, but it's worth it as long as you have special moments. There will be lots of these moments in the future.
That's
Elisa
that's
did not
someone who's
realize
hopeful to
just
see that
how
moment
short
again.
of a time she had left to create and experience these special moments.
Right.
For Elisa, life would not be long. Because her parents were on the fence about her traveling alone, Elisa promised to call home every day, several times a day. She'd be in constant contact, and she'd update them on what she was doing and what she was seeing. And she did.
October 10th.
until
Yeah,
the end of
definitely.
January 31st. A couple of people saw Elisa that
Speaking
day.
of, I'm gonna
Kate
make the
Orton,
other,
the manager of a store called
thimble
the
right
Glass
now.
Store around the corner from the Cecil Hotel, saw and spoke to Elisa on the 31st. Elisa was buying books and records for her family and friends back home, and she chatted with Katie about if
Looking
her
at 'em right
purchases
now
were
to
going
see
to be
what we're
too
gonna do
much
for the
or
next
too
one.
heavy to walk around with. Katie said she was lively, happy, and friendly, and she seemed fully intent on going home to give these things to her
We'll do a
family.
Starburst.
When Elisa's parents still
full
hadn't heard
Starburst
from
one.
her and a couple days had passed, they contacted the Vancouver police, who directed them to the LAPD. Then Elisa's parents got on a plane and flew to LA to
Oh,
meet the
also,
police
I'm gonna have
and
to
search for
remake
their daughter.
the butterfly.
6 days after Elisa is
I might be able to take this butterfly off of it, but it keeps cracking.
Yesterday, we were made aware of robbery homicide of missing persons case, Elisa Lam. She was last seen on the 31st at
That
the Cecil
Frit-
Hotel.
that Frit is still
640
causing us shit.
South Main Street.
Run to the
She's a
bathroom real
Canadian
quick.
citizen, and the reason that we're investigating this a robbery homicide is because we're in connection with Interpol on a regular basis, and any case that involves foreign nationals usually comes to us. So right now we're asking your help. We have a photo. Parents are here. They've flown down from Vancouver, and we're seeking to get this photo out so we can find Elisa. Again, she's been missing since the 31st, and she was down in Los Angeles in our area just basically for leisure, for travel. And we're continuing the investigation now, and we're looking for your help. So with that, that's pretty much all I have as far as details on the case. If you have any questions, I can entertain them now.
Visually, the goddess here said that she vanished under somewhat suspicious circumstances. So, what can you say about that?
She was in
Honey
contact with
roasted
her parents
peanuts.
daily, her family, up until the 31st. So it's been 5 days, 6 days now. And as far as suspicious circumstances, nothing other than that, but there's been no communication at all.
Yeah,
And,
that's a threat.
That's worried us and worried the family, so we're proceeding with the
I
investigation.
might be able to save. Actually, I will be able to
The
save
day after
the
they're
butterfly
alerted
on there,
that
but I'll have to
Elisa
put it
is
on
missing,
something else.
They give this press conference. They show her picture. They ask for help in finding her or keeping a lookout for her. They ask for people to come forward if they've seen her. He says that she was staying at the hotel. She never checked out, and they were in the process of looking through hotel surveillance footage. A reporter asks the question, do you think anybody told her about the Cecil Hotel or warned her about where she was staying? And police respond, no, we have no reason to believe
Also, it's very
she was
thick.
concerned
It's a
about
very
where
thick
she was
piece.
staying at all.
Dusty Frit plus very thick.
No.
Which I might just do
don't
clear
believe,
for the
she
next
had any
one.
idea that that might be a
clear
location to be concerned about.
paperweight
The
for it
hotel
to be
staff
on.
who also saw Elisa the day she went missing
Save the butterflies.
up to January 31st, they said she was acting completely normal. She wasn't acting odd. She wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. But they said that she was always alone. They never saw her in the company of anybody else. Next would come the most puzzling piece of the Elisa Lam mystery, and the one that still haunts most of us to this day.
The
The
footage?
surveillance footage
Yep.
that the police had collected from the hotel was released to the public. I suppose in hopes that someone would recognize her and come forward and say they'd seen her, even though the picture that they put up on the news and the picture they were showing people that her family had given them was a much better likeness of her. The surveillance footage is grainy, not a great picture. You don't really see the features of her face. So even though the police say that's why they released it, I'm not sure. But in this surveillance footage, Elisa's acting very strange. So you can see that the doors to the elevator are opening. She's getting on. She's going to get really close to the buttons, and then she's going to push all of the buttons in the middle row. Now she's going to stand there, and she's going to wait for the elevator door to close, but when it doesn't close, she's going to get confused. She's going to creep to the door of the elevator and look out, almost as if she's hoping to catch somebody in the act.
That's something I would do. So,
Playful. Some people think she was
in my mind, I go, oh no, the elevator's not working. I should play this off outwardly and go, oh, is somebody waiting for it? Had somebody else press the button? And then she was like embarrassed that there was nobody there, so she hopped back in and went up against the thing. Like, it's all very recognizable stuff now that I look back at it after having been very manic and also in psychotic situations myself.
great. The way she hides next to the elevator buttons as if she thinks she's being followed or if she's running.
She's smiling, you can see.
She's gonna slowly creep out of the elevator. She's gonna do this little hop thing in a moment. Like I said, it's as if she's playing hide and seek with a child. She's trying to catch somebody who she thinks may be outside of the elevator, holding the button, keeping the elevator door open.
Those steps as well.
She's standing just outside of the elevator now. She's out of frame for a little bit, but then you can see her pop back into frame and her arm hanging loosely by her side.
People think that right there was somebody else. People think that there was somebody else in the room with her right there.
What is she doing out here? to her head, almost as if to say, what is going on?
Yeah, she's like, why is the elevator broken?
She's out here for quite a while. Is she talking to someone? Is she looking for someone? Does she see someone down the hall who's beckoning to her? Now she's going to walk back in, holding the elevator doors as if she's losing her balance. She's going to push the buttons on the elevator again, hoping to make the elevator door close.
Probably because she pushed too many of them at once. Overloaded the fucking system, right?
In my opinion, she appears to be just as confused about what is happening as we are. She once again goes and stands outside of the elevator.
Right.
And this is when people say her hands and her fingers look strange. They look long, almost non-human. The things she's doing with her hands look strange. And then all of a sudden she...
Yeah, to neurotypical people, stimming does look fucking strange, doesn't it? Standing here and going like this, or going like this. Yeah, this looks strange to most people.
She starts counting on her fingers.
Oh, what the fuck? God damn it! You stop that! You stop that! No. Too synchronous. Too synchronous of coincidence. You stop that.
So why do they look so abnormally long?
It's like, that's what I do. I go like this and count my fingers and rock back and forth. And she started doing it.
After standing outside of the elevator for a bit and appearing to have a conversation with someone.
Especially if you're anxious and you're like, why the fuck isn't the elevator working? I want to go down. Let me stim real quick and wait for it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just realized it said at top chat. How many fucking messages of y'all have I missed?
Her and asking her to come with them.
Hopefully not too many.
We don't know. Either way, this was the last time that Elisa Lam would ever be seen.
Oh, no one's. I saw everyone's good. Yeah, that's the last time she was ever seen.
They described her behavior as bizarre and said that she was acting erratically.
But
and
no, that's just someone on the spectrum in the midst of mania
they were not making
stimming.
it available to the public because they reached a standstill in the investigation. Of course, this video went viral, with everybody speculating about what the heck she was doing in that elevator. Was she drunk? Was she on some sort of hallucinogenic drug? Was she being threatened by somebody else outside of the elevator? Was she being followed? There are so many theories about what she was doing in that elevator, which we will get to in the theories section of this video. But at this point, she's still missing. Nobody knows where she is. There's no clues. There's no leads. And the surveillance footage shows that her night may not have been going normally the night she disappeared. In some legal documents, it is stated that the
Normal, as in neurotypical.
An exhaustive
I like how she said
and
that. I think she
extensive
meant it
search
like with
of
an
the
inflection
Hotel
like that.
Cecil. Extensive and exhaustive. Remember those words. They said they did this extensive and exhaustive search of the hotel, of the hotel's roof, over the course of several
Jay, you're like,
days
yeah,
starting February 5th. They set up a command post.
Probably
in
a
the
lot of
lobby
things
the
would have been said
hotel.
similar about me.
Teams of police officers went through the hotel with a hotel employee.
Walking
that
back and forth,
keycard
stimming,
and
pressing the
checked groups.
buttons.
They said they searched every nook and cranny. After this, a second search of the hotel was done using canine units, but there was still no sign of Elisa Lam.
And again,
So I'm
next
just
to
gonna
Skid Row.
interject here really quickly. I don't know what the LAPD considered to be an extensive and exhaustive search, but they did not search every single room. They went with a hotel employee who had a key card, and they knocked on the doors of people's rooms,
No way.
but they asked if they could look inside, and if the people said, no, you can't come inside and look, the police couldn't do it or wouldn't do it, even though I feel like they probably could have. They probably only need
Oh,
to
no.
judge and say, hey,
Did you have a phone
this
with
girl
you?
disappeared
And
here at
if
this
you did,
hotel.
did it have signal?
She may be in somebody's room. We need a warrant to search every single room of the Cecil.
Now that I'm thinking about it, she may have been in somebody's room when they put her in the water tower, right?
Hotel. All 600. They probably could have done that, but that would have been a lot of work for the LAPD, probably. So they did not check every room, and we know they probably didn't check every nook and cranny of the roof either, because while they were doing their extensive and exhaustive search on the roof, she was in the water tank, right there on the roof, and they never looked. They put up posters of her face all over LA. Her parents stayed in LA to get the awareness out and the word out that their daughter was missing, but none of these things led to her discovery. It would be an ironic and random complaint about water pressure from a guest of the Hotel Cecil
How long were you traveling
that
there
would lead
for?
to the discovery of her body weeks later. On February 19th,
Weeks
some
later.
hotel guests called the front desk and complained that the water pressure was really weak and there was a strange odor coming from the tap water. Santiago Lopez, a member of the maintenance team at the hotel, headed up to the roof where the hotel's water was supplied by 4 water tanks. He climbed up the ladder to check them out, and that's when he discovered that the main water tank's hatch was open. He looked inside and saw a woman floating on her back about 12 inches from the top of the tank. It was Elisa Lamb.
I wonder if you got
LAPD was
any close
immediately
pictures of Andy
notified.
for me.
The fire department
You got
had
any
to
close
come and
pictures of
drain
my
the tank
husband?
completely before cutting a section out of the side so it could remove her body. She was completely naked, and in the tank with her they found the clothes she'd been wearing in that elevator video. 1 pair of black shorts sized men's medium, 1 green
Jerky sticks, Pringles, Cheez-Its, Fig Newtons, and fruit bars. See, that's not all bad. I mean, you mentioned not having eaten, so that's all good things to be snacking on, especially if you don't eat much anyways. Speaking of, I need to get more snacks as well. We're halfway through this and I don't have much more snacks on hand. You want one of those bad, don't you? Here, you can have a peanut. Anybody want a peanut? Come on, you gotta do a trick though. No, don't cheat. Yeah, it's worth it. Ow! Right, you gotta come over here and show everybody how delicate you take things. Even in T-Rex mode. Compared to Lucy, who took my whole fucking hand off. Got a wet nose. I feel that. I'm not usually awake long enough to board and eat. Because I work and sleep. I like sleeping. I'm a big fan of sleep.
shirt labeled JJM with a logo on the back that said Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale, size large. 1 pair of Calvin Klein black lace underwear, size small. A pair of black polka dotted sandals. A red American Apparel zip-up hoodie, size extra small. Her watch and room key card were also found in the tank. Okay, so that's a lot of information. Let's unpack it quickly.
Oh, I was like, this is an
The Cecil
interesting
is a
commercial
15-story
to
building
cut
that's
to.
shaped like an E with 3 separate wings that are connected. On the roof, there are 4 1,000-gallon water tanks that supply the hotel with water using a gravity-operated system. Each tank is approximately 10 feet high and 6 feet in diameter, and they're located on a 4-foot
About 30 minutes
platform.
left in this.
So these are huge water tanks, and in order to access them, you'd have to get on to the roof of the hotel, which is a restricted area to hotel guests. Somehow climb up this 4-foot platform, find this ladder that's located in between all of the 4 tanks, and so you're going through like pipes and tubes and all the stuff that's connected to the water tanks in order to get in between all 4 and find the ladder that allows you to climb up the water
We'll do
tank,
the prep
climb
for the,
up that ladder, and then climb on top of the
Arctic.
water tank and open the metal hatch located on the top.
I didn't even mean to do that. I was actually
and then
wiping
for some reason,
the dust off
jump
it.
inside of this water tank. Theoretically, you could also climb onto the elevator
Oh,
maintenance
that was
building,
loud.
which is located
I
next
missed
to those 4 tanks, and
the
then
fucking
jump down
thing.
into an open hatch, but you'd have to have some pretty good aim to do that because that maintenance building is
Buc-ee's,
pretty
yeah,
tall.
they've got all the jerkies.
So now that we kind of have a picture of what these water tanks
Buc-ee's
look
is
like
awesome.
and how difficult it would be to kind
Very,
of get inside
very
of
Texan.
one, we're going to go back to Elisa Lamb. Obviously, the residents of the Cecil Hotel were having issues with water pressure because there had been a dead body in one of the water tanks. It had been
Ew.
2 weeks. 2 British tourists who'd been staying at the Cecil Hotel, Sabrina and Michael Bow, claimed that the water pressure in the shower was horrible and the water had a funny taste. They also said when you turn
Gross.
on the tap water, it would run black for a couple of seconds before running clear again. You know LA's only got a bad rep when it comes to people from other countries. When the people from other countries visit LA, and turn the water on, and it runs black for a couple
And they're just like,
seconds,
oh,
and they're
damn.
like, this is probably just how the water is here. It runs black. So you've got hotel guests and people who actually lived at the hotel, like permanently, drinking and showering
Watch
and
out,
bathing
Stinky. I'm
in
not trying to
water
scare you. I'm trying to
that
move
had
this chair.
potentially been contaminated by a corpse for several weeks. Many of the hotel guests checked out, claiming that the hotel
Now
hadn't
kiss.
even notified
Now
them
kiss.
of the discovery of the body, and they had continued to drink the water and use the water. These people had found out by watching the news. And the Hotel Cecil continued to take reservations for people to check in. Some of these people who checked in after the fact, after the discovery of the body,
Like the,
claimed, allegedly, that the hotel
honey
had
roasted
never even
peanuts.
notified them that there was an issue with the water supply and
Good
not to
stuff.
drink it. Now, the hotel claims that they did tell people that they said, yeah, we can still take your reservation, but you won't be able to use the water or, drink the water for a while. We'll provide you with bottled water. But who knows what the truth is? Who knows? Why would a 21-year-old girl traveling alone go to the roof of a hotel that she's not allowed to be at? and
Yeah,
do
you
a
better be
water
delicate.
check? It seemed initially that everyone
Bite my
thought she had
fingers
been
off.
put there and there was foul play involved. But then the autopsy was done and her death was ruled to be an accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder
Right.
being a contributing factor. Now, I posted a picture
Watch out,
of a
Stinky.
page from the autopsy
Hey,
results on my
Stinky.
Patreon, and I asked my patrons, what doesn't look right about this? And that's all I said. And most of them figured it out right away. So you can see that initially, the cause of death was checked off as unknown, could not be determined was checked, but then it was crossed off, and accidental was checked. In the autopsy, it also showed that all articles of clothing had some sand-like particulate present on the fabric. There was no evidence of internal or external injuries, and she was
Sand-like?
described as thin, 122 pounds and about 5'4". A rape kit was done on her and put into evidence, but as far as we know, that kit has never been processed and sits in a backboard
What?
at the LAPD crime lab. Now, this is not necessarily saying anything wrong about the LAPD crime lab, and we covered this a lot when we talked about the Krista Worthington case from Cape Cod.
What?
I think that this is the state of many crime labs across the nation.
Same with
You
me.
have
They-
so many
they're-
samples
there's
being
My
done,
Safe Food
and
now.
I don't know
They
if
used
it's
to be
just
as
the
well,
time
but they
that it takes
rotate.
to process them, or a lack of resources, or
The
a
bottom
lack
layer of that sugar
people
and that
who
last
are
mouthful of them.
qualified
Oh.
to do the testing, but
Drugs.
a lot of these samples just sit in storage and never get tested.
For sure, Sky.
Which I think is a big problem that should be addressed
Hope everything's
more
okay.
at a federal level, because this is happening
Needing-
all over the
needing
country.
vet clinic.
And when it comes to rape kits and things like that, you potentially have the DNA of somebody who's just a predator out there attacking people in your storage. And you can find out who that is.
Especially on
Catch
Skid
him,
Row.
Take him off the streets and make sure he's not doing that to anybody else. But instead, they just sit there under lock and key. It doesn't make sense why. So the opinion section of page 10 of the autopsy essentially states that there was no evidence of trauma. Toxicology report showed no acute alcohol or drug
Toasted
intoxication.
coconut
She had a history of
almonds.
bipolar disorder. and
Almonds are
depression.
really, really good for you too. I don't know what the chemical is or whatever it is, but it's the chemical that's supposed to make you feel full. So if you're looking for a healthy snack, almonds. A handful of almonds. It's what my mom would eat as a snack when she was doing bodybuilding competition. The peanuts! They tried to kill me! There was some hiding under my tongue. And when I inhaled to say the next thing that I needed to say, they attacked my uvulus. No, that's not how you say that word. Oh, made my eyes water.
That she was prescribed medication for, and her blood was checked for the presence
You eat
of
the whole
these
thing?
medications. But
Well,
apparently, there wasn't enough blood available to
Oh,
her
good,
to
okay,
check for the
Sky.
quantity. Investigation determined no foul play and no intention of self-harm, just a simple accidental drowning. A lot of people say that there's no way Elisa could have gotten onto the roof of the Cecil Hotel and into that water tank by herself. The hotel claims that
And it was closed
there were
behind
ways
her.
to gain access to the roof, which is a clearly labeled restricted area. There's a door which leads from the 14th floor of the hotel to the roof, and that's always locked and alarmed. Allegedly, only a member of the maintenance team at that hotel would have a key that would unlock that door and the ability to disarm the alarm. Allegedly, according to the Cecil Hotel, when the alarm goes off, it's
Yeah,
not
that's-
enough to
we're
be
gonna
heard
believe
at
the Cecil
14th
Hotel.
and the 15th floors. And The front desk has an additional alarm that when that alarm at the 14th floor door goes off, it alerts the front desk using an alarm connected there. According to the hotel's own words, this alarm was not activated at all during the months of January 2013 and February 2013. So if you believe what the hotel is saying, that the door is locked and alarmed and the alarm did not go off while she was staying there, there would be no way that she could have gained access to the room through that door, leaving only the 3 exterior fire escapes located on the sides of the hotel that run the entire length of the building. Now this is some footage from Google Earth. You can see that
maybe after the elevator stopped working, she got out onto the fire escape.
Stairs that run out from the ground all the way to the final floor, and then you would have to climb up a ladder fastened to the side of the building.
That seems like manic
up to the roof.
things to
Once
do.
on the roof,
Oh
she
shit,
had to have
the
located
elevator's
the ladder,
broken, I need to go up and down.
go
Oh,
up
there's
that,
a,
and
there's
then
a
on top of
fire
it,
escape.
open the hatch,
I'll
and
use
jump
that.
in. Why would she do that? According to the toxicology report, she wasn't drunk. She wasn't using any hallucinogenic drugs. What
Oh,
would
she wasn't on
motivate her
anything?
to jump through so many hoops, climbing up a fire escape, climbing up a ladder, finding another ladder, climbing up that ladder, opening a hatch on the top of the water tank, and going for a swim in the water tank? Why? Who makes the decision to go swimming in a water tank on the roof of a hotel? And if you
psychotic.
believe what the autopsy is saying, that it was accidental, that's really the only reason that she would go up into that water tank and jump in and accidentally drown. She had made the conscious effort to get in the water tank of her own accord. Now there's a lot of misinformation online saying that the water tanks are covered by these heavy lids, and that's true. But these sources online say that there's no way she could have moved that heavy lid and gotten into the water tank and then pulled the heavy lid back over her, which is also true. I do believe that. But she didn't need to remove that huge, like 6-foot, metal lid in order to get into the water tank. There's a hatch, a little door built into the water tank. The lid of the water tank that she opened, and then she could jump in. It was probably not a big opening.
That's in bad taste.
This big, but she could have fit through it. And when she was found, this door, this little hatch on top of the water tank, was open, which is why when the maintenance man came up to the roof to check on the water tanks, he checked that water tank first because the hatch was open. The tank was said to have been about 1.5 to 1/3 of the way full, which is why after she jumped into the tank, allegedly, if she did jump into the tank, she wouldn't have been able to reach back up and close that hatch door because the water level was too low. That's probably why she wouldn't have been able to get out of the water tank as well. But my question is, if the police claim to have extensively and exhaustively searched every nook and
They didn't go to the roof and notice the fucking water, the hatch was open?
The hatch door was open on the water tank.
Yeah, what the fuck?
According to reports, the police claimed that when they searched the roof, they didn't go anywhere near the water tanks. That's why they didn't see the door was open. Which leads me to point out, LAPD, that's not every nook and cranny, not by far.
That's not every nook and cranny.
That the water tanks were too high, being on that 4-foot platform, for the police to have been able to see the
Sometimes
water
when it's
tank
too
door
short like
open
that, you need to tap it onto
from
something,
the place on the roof.
or else
I'm
it'll
not
cut
sure
your
if
hands.
that's true. I wish I could get up to the Cecil Hotel's roof and open a water tank hatch and then stand down on the roof part and see if I can see it. Another reason might be that the
Lucinda, let me know that you had posted some pictures for me, Skylar. I'm excited to see. Jealous you got to see my husband.
He said it was left open, or the hotel.
Hopefully he looked good tonight.
It was left open. So it looked as if
What am
he'd
I
gotten
saying?
it
He
on
looks
her
good
own.
all night.
If that little hatch had been closed, it would have been clear.
Hope you had fun,
another
Skylar.
party involved. So I'm just saying that's a possibility. That's speculation of why the police may not have seen the hatch door open from their position on the roof, because maybe it had been closed, and then the hotel just fabricated the story of it being open to make it look as if it was more of an accident than anything else. But once again, that's just my opinion, just my speculation, just my conspiracy. Don't come for me. Then there's a question of the sand-like particulate found in most of her clothing.
I was hoping she would say something about that.
When she was found, she was naked, and most of her clothes were found in the tank with her. Some people believe she undressed herself in the tank due to hypothermia. And this is very similar to the Kanika Jenkins case when she was in the freezer and it looked as if her clothes were all in disarray. People believe that she was taking off her own clothes. I think it's called paradoxical undressing.
Paradoxical.
It means when you're very, very cold, your body reacts and almost makes you feel like you're really, really hot.
Actually, paradoxical might be right.
instead of trying to cover up, which would help you with the hypothermia more. However, I don't agree with this.
Oh, good, Skylar. I'm so
If
happy
it
here.
get really cold at night, then, you know, in January and February, I assume it would be getting colder at night. But I don't
That's awesome.
know
Glad
if
you
it
had
would have
fun.
been cold enough in that tank to cause hypothermia.
I'm excited
My
to check this
theory
food now.
is it's more likely that if she went into the tank when she was still alive, she would have tried to remove
30 minutes
her
left in the stream.
clothing while she was trying to stay afloat, knowing it was weighing her down. So as her clothing got wet and it gets heavier when it gets wet, she probably took it off so that she could stay afloat for longer, hoping that help would come or hoping that she'd figure out a way out of this tank. But everything together, the weird elevator video, the difficulty of getting up onto the roof and into these water tanks, the inconsistencies in the autopsy, and how even though there seems to be evidence and leads that haven't been investigated yet, with very little follow-up from the LAPD, they have ruled her death an accidental death, and they've left it at that. So let's talk about some possible theories. Okay, so theory number one is that she was murdered, whether it be by someone she knew, a hotel guest, or a hotel
That's what I
employee.
think happened.
People believe she was murdered. Many internet
dumped her in there.
detectives have made claims that there are multiple registered sex offenders living full-time at the Cecil Hotel. Personally, I could not find any evidence that led to such conclusions, but at the time of her death, there were 100 full-time residents living at the Cecil Hotel. Some believe it was an employee of the hotel, someone who was able to gain roof access and brought her up there with him or her. The fact that her clothes had this sandy-like particle or substance on them suggested that they'd been off of her before she went into the tank. A sand-like substance like that particulate was found on the floor of the roof. So it's hard because I said the floor of the roof, but there's no ceiling of the roof. And roof and floor
They used to
are
use
such
just rock for
confusing
roof.
ideas, but the top of
Rock
the
and
roof where
asphalt.
feet would walk. So if her clothes had been taken off
Or just
placed
concrete.
on the roof, they would have had to have been thrown in after her.
Yeah.
After she went into the tank.
That's what I
So
think.
basically, the theory that she might have taken her clothes off while she was in the tank would only work if she had taken her clothes off and rubbed them all over the roof and then put them back on, or if she had rolled around on the roof.
If
I
she's
guess,
taking
or
them
she was
off
still
while in
dressed
the water, then it would have shaken out most of the particulate, right?
before getting into the water tank. Theory number 2 suggests that Elisa wasn't taking her meds as prescribed, and this caused her to have some sort of psychotic break,
We need more
which made
silver.
her act strangely in the elevator and do something seemingly without any reason, like going up to the roof of a hotel and
getting
jumping
in a
into
water
a water
tank,
tank.
yeah.
Once she was in there, she would have realized that there was no way to get back out. She couldn't
shit.
reach the entrance
Can't
to the
get
water
outta
tank
here.
that she'd come through. And she
Seems
would
like a
have
good
called
idea
for
at
help,
first. Let's
hoping
take a
somebody
swim
would
in
hear
the
her and get her out.
in the
But
water
there was
tank
nobody
on
around
the top of the roof
who
of the
could
building
hear
I'm
her.
staying in
And
while I'm here from
eventually
out of
she got
country.
too tired to
Sounds like a
continue
manic thing to
swimming.
do.
After her death, Elisa's parents filed a wrongful death suit against the Cecil Hotel, and it seems to be that they believed Elisa was off her meds and went in there on her own. However, they believed the hotel was responsible for not protecting its residents. There were no cameras on the 14th floor hallway to show if there was anyone following Elisa while she was in the elevator. There were no cameras on the roof. The door to the roof was allegedly not locked, but alarmed, and the water tanks were not locked either, making it easy for someone to fall into them.
Yeah.
A judge dismissed this suit, finding in favor of the Cecil Hotel. Apparently, they had done all they could to make it clear that hotel guests were not allowed to be on the roof. However, I would like to point out, in these court documents, the head of the maintenance department, who is said to have worked there for over 30 years, claims that he does a weekly inspection of the roof and the water tanks.
Ooh,
But at the
that's
same time,
sus.
he says he has no knowledge that any hotel guests have ever been on the roof. Number one, if you went up there weekly and you checked out the roof and the water tanks, you would have noticed that the door, the hatch door, was open on one of the water tanks. And Elisa may have still been alive, or maybe she would have been found long before 3 weeks after going missing. Secondly, there's graffiti all over that roof, including on the water tanks. And this graffiti is dated. The only way that graffiti would get onto the roof and the water tank is if people were going up there who shouldn't be up there. So I have a hard time believing that the Cecil Hotel had no idea that some of their guests would go up to the roof. In fact, there are several people who have come forward saying that while they stayed at the Cecil Hotel, they used to go up to the roof all the time and like smoke or do drugs, do graffiti. It was like a hangout spot. Additionally, since the death of Elisa Lam, many people have gone and stayed at the Cecil Hotel and showed with video proof how easy it really was to get up to the roof. However, this seems to be the theory that most people who don't spend a ton of time looking
Local.
into the case in all of its details believe. A psychiatrist from Columbia University claimed that based on the video, Elisa appeared to be having a psychotic episode. He says she seems paranoid, preoccupied, as if she's looking for someone. The way she presses all those buttons in the middle row and the bizarre hand movements, those are all hallmark signs of someone who is going through a psychotic episode. The medicines she was prescribed, if taken incorrectly, could have caused such an episode. In the toxicology report, we can see that it looked as if Elisa only took one of her antidepressants that day. Her second antidepressant and her mood stabilizer had been taken recently, but not that day. And the antipsychotic that she was supposed to be taking, she hadn't taken that recently at all.
Oh God, yeah, that'll do it.
Medications that she'd been prescribed were designed
And then drugs
to
on
work
top
in
of
harmony.
it.
But if she omitted one, or took too much of one, or too little of one, it could throw her whole body and brain chemistry off. That could have caused the odd behavior her roommates were talking about and her bizarre behavior in the elevator. Then there are the theories that don't answer any questions, they just make more. Theory number 3 centers around the Lamb-Eliza TB test. On February 21st, 2013, the LA Times reported the biggest outbreak of TB in Los Angeles in over a decade, and the disease seemed to have focused itself on Skid Row, right around the corner from the Cecil Hotel. Besides the fact that this seems to have happened within days of her body being found, what does it have to do with Elisa? Well, apparently the testing kit used to test the urine of someone to determine if they have TB is called Lamb-Eliza. No joke,
No
it's
shit.
spelled the same way in everything. And get this, the company who produces these urine tests, My Biosource, was founded in 2006 in Vancouver, the same place Elisa went to school. Some people thought that this was too much of a coincidence, and I have to admit, it's creepy. Some thought maybe she was sent there to LA to infect the homeless population there with TB. They were becoming such a problem for the city, maybe there was somebody who had an interest in seeing their populations reduced. Others thought her death was a plant, so the TB outbreak would go overlooked. This way, if anybody Googled Lamb-Eliza, like the testing kit for TB, it would pop up with Elisa Lamb's death, not the TB outbreak on Skid Row. Some people say her death was faked and she was still alive. They just faked her death in order to cover up this tuberculosis spreading through Skid Row in LA, and she's still alive out there somewhere. And people point to her Tumblr account as proof of this. As an older person and someone who doesn't use Tumblr, I had to turn to an expert for this because I admit it was very creepy to see that her Tumblr was still being posted to months after she died. So I asked my 18-year-old daughter if there's any way that you could almost have something post automatically to Tumblr, or if there's a certain person you follow on Tumblr, every time they post, you have it automatically posted to your Tumblr account. Because all the things that were being shared after her death just seemed to be reposts. My daughter said, not really, but you can schedule posts. So her blog on Tumblr is named Nouvelle Nouveau, and I'll link it in the description box if you want to check it out. So you'd have to go into archive, and then you can kind of get an idea of when these things were posted. So if she died in late January or early February of 2013, you'd expect to see all posts after the February 1st of 2013 not be happening anymore, right? Her not posting to Tumblr anymore, but you do see posts in these months. You see a ton of posts in February, posts in March.
Well, I was gonna say nobody schedules that many posts, but if she was manic, then
What Dad told me, my daughter, is that you can schedule posts to go off at certain times. So Elisa most likely scheduled a bunch of reposts.
Same name
to
on
go
Instagram
live
except
in
an
February. That's why
extra
you see
underscore
a drastic reduction
on either
in the
side.
number of posts. And as the months go on. In February, there's probably like 50, and then in March, there's only 4. In April, there's only 3. In
the Jimmy Dean
In
sandwiches.
December of 2013, there's 1 again. So then I started to ask Nev, well, is there a way you can post these posts for specific days? Because you've got a big gap between June of 2013 and December of 2013. And Nev told me to look at the picture posted in December, which I did. And she said, is it Christmassy? And I said, yes, it is. It's a light bulb with a Christmas tree in it and snow. And Nev said, well, sometimes people, if they come across like a holiday kind of Tumblr post, they will schedule it for December or around Christmas time. So then it'll post then. So
Yeah,
pretty much
that
that
makes
explains
sense.
the whole mystery of why Elisa Lam's Tumblr is still being posted to. I don't think there's anything strange going on there at all. People who believe that Elisa Lam's death was faked also believe that Elisa and her family and everybody in her life that knew her essentially are paid actors. I definitely don't believe that Elisa Lam's parents are paid actors. They definitely came to LA when Elisa went missing. There's a real live lawsuit against the Cecil Hotel that's in their names, so I don't think that they're fake people. I definitely don't believe at all that Elisa's death was fake or that she's still sitting on Tumblr posting under her old account, because that would make no sense if she was trying to hide and not be found out to be a fake. Theory number 4 is the dark water angle. So there's this movie called Dark Water. The original was a 2002 film from Japan, and the American remake came out in 2005. So the movie's story is about a young girl named Natasha who drowned in a rooftop water tank of an apartment building. A few years later, a woman and her daughter Cecilia move into this apartment building, and the spirit of Natasha haunts them. Okay, so here's the strange coincidences between Elisa Lam and the movie Dark Water, in case you're interested. First, the daughter's name in the movie was Cecilia, and Elisa Lam died at the Cecil Hotel. Obviously, the fact that a young girl died in a water tank on top of an apartment building is very similar. And in the 2005 version of the movie, the mother is standing in the elevator, and the camera is capturing her from the same angle, in essentially the same position as Elisa was in her elevator footage. The movie shows the young girl accessing the roof through a door that was supposed to have been locked. Elisa is wearing a red hooded sweatshirt. Natasha, when she fell into the water tank, is wearing a red jacket. And Cecilia is also wearing a red shirt throughout the whole movie. The elevator scene.
Synchronicities, I think. Coincidences more than
anything. The way
anything.
Elisa was acting in the elevator. So I guess supporters of this theory believe that somebody was using Elisa to act out this scene from Dark Water. And I always did think it was weird because she was a pretty small girl. I think she was like 112 pounds, 5'4". Her underwear was a size small.
Oh, thank you,
Her hoodie was a size extra small. But the other clothes that she was wearing, the men's shorts were a size medium, and the t-shirt was a size large. And I don't know if anybody's ever been able to prove that these items of clothing actually belong to her. The shorts were actually men's shorts. So was she at first playing along with someone, recreating this movie willingly until it got out of hand and it got serious? Her behavior in the elevator does at times suggest a certain flirtation or playfulness with someone who might be outside of the elevator, as if she's a little kid playing peekaboo. And since there's no camera in that hallway, we will never know. Theory number 5 is the elevator game. Her actions in that elevator were the most strange and bizarre part of the case that most people still talk about to this
Alright,
day.
I went with the
Why
cup
did she
instead of
push
these shot
all those
glasses, and I'm
buttons
glad
in a row?
we
Why
did.
didn't the doors close?
'Cause this
Why did her
is
fingers look so long
really
and
nice.
distorted at points in that video? Turns out, Elisa Lam wasn't wearing her glasses, and she didn't have really great vision. And as a fellow blind girl, I can relate. So she most likely had to get really
gotta
close
plug
to those
my phone
elevator
in.
buttons to figure out which one was floor 5, where her room was. And since the number 5 would have been located in the middle row of those buttons that she pushed, she may have just
as well
pushed
press
down the
all
row,
of them.
remembering that 5 was in that row, but not remembering exactly where it was, figuring that she could get off as the elevator doors opened and kind of look out and see if her room
Oh,
was
yeah.
there. But as she was pushing down that middle row of buttons, she most likely accidentally and unknowingly hit the hold button, which would have kept the elevator doors open, which would have confused her considering she wouldn't have known that she pushed it, which would have prompted her to look outside of the elevator
Like,
to
oh
see
no,
who
is
was
somebody-
pushing the button from the outside.
Yeah, is
to
somebody
keep it
pushing the
open.
button, need to come
When
in?
she didn't see anybody out there, she maybe thought that someone was playing games with her or like trying to prank her, and that's why she kind of bounced out and in from the elevator trying to catch that
Or
person
did
in the
it-
act. As for her fingers,
So
I
in my
think it
mind,
shows-
I've done stuff like that because my mind goes, somebody's watching you. And it's funny because somebody is watching her. I go, you should move around or do something. You should do something that doesn't look like you're being weird, and it ends up looking even more weird. It ends up looking like what she's doing. It ends up looking even more strange than somebody who's just sitting there going, oh no, why is this not working? Instead of going, oh no, why is it not working? In a neurodivergent person's mind, they go, oh no, why is it not working? I should be more patient. Wait, why aren't I more patient? Dang, I remember that one time I was less patient. Wait, I'm supposed to be thinking about the... And then that entire time you're going like this, and you're swinging back and forth. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense.
distorted. The whole video has been altered. The timestamp is so unclear and corrupted.
The
There's
video
no way to
timestamp
tell
is
it's
fucked
this.
up, which is
This
interesting.
could be because the hotel was using a very old surveillance system, or it could be that while the video was being reviewed by either the Cecil Hotel or the LAPD, the video was edited and the timestamp was altered so it couldn't be read. Why would the video be edited so that the timestamp was unreadable before it was released to the public? Most likely
I need to
because
cut your
once again,
mustache.
either the hotel or the police
Quit chewing on your
didn't want
mustache.
us regular everyday people to see that there were time jumps in that video. And there do appear to be specific parts in the video where pieces are missing, as well as areas where the video's speed is changed. Why is this? Well, possibly someone may have walked past the elevator door and
Put your nose in my hands.
past the open elevators, being caught by the camera inside the elevator, and since that person
Oh,
had
Lexi,
nothing to do with
also,
the case, and for privacy reasons,
the
they
first
removed that portion
cup
so
that we
that
made
the
you,
speed wouldn't have been revealed, or the hotel
that
or
got
the
folded
police
over a little bit. I'm gonna send along
don't
with it
want us to
anyways.
see something that's
Or send along with your stuff.
or someone.
Because it actually kind of
Anytime
looks,
something
it looks a little
creepy
cool.
happens in an elevator, the elevator game is brought
They'll be
up.
able to use
I
it
looked
for
up the
something, I
rules
imagine,
to
right?
the elevator game, which is supposed to transport you to another dimension, and they are as follows. First, the prospective player must choose a building with at least 10 accessible floors and locate an elevator that can be used without anyone else trying to get on it at the same time. The player will then enter the elevator from the first floor, but absolutely must be completely alone. Once in the elevator, the player must visit each of the following floors.
About 10 minutes left in the stream. Or at least left in this. We'll hang out for a few minutes after that, so maybe 15 minutes left in our stream.
6, 2, 10, 5, 1. Upon pressing the button to once again return to the first floor, if the elevator begins to move up instead of down, then the ritual has been successful, and the next floor the player arrives at will be the portal to another dimension. However, if the elevator obeys and begins descending to the first floor, the player must exit the elevator and the building as quickly as possible, and not, for any reason, look back. So, some other things about the elevator game. This one paragraph says, a woman may enter on the 5th floor, but do not acknowledge her, which scared the crap out of me. The article goes on to say that players who have spoken to or even looked at the woman claims she got hostile and she would begin haunting their dreams. It says if the ritual carries out properly, when exiting onto the 10th floor, it should have a cast of darkness and a faint red glow coming from nearby.
Fucking jump scare, Jesus.
However, nearly all players describe how they are completely alone in this other dimension, with the woman from the 5th floor, if she entered the elevator, refusing to explore with them.
No, I wanna do
Some
this.
also report it as incredibly dark, and the heavy air is suffocating. Many things can go wrong in the other dimension. Players who choose to exit the elevator at the 10th floor believe walking in a straight line makes it easier to return to the correct elevator door to go home.
So it's the back
Some
rooms.
sources say this isn't the case. Many people brave enough to exit the elevator have reported how the closer they walk back towards the elevators, the farther away they seem to get, while others claim the air becomes incredibly thick, unbearably so,
back
causing them
rooms.
to become disoriented and have trouble discerning similar elevator doors. Allegedly, if a player faints while playing this game, they will find themselves waking up back in their home, except it's not the same home they left. One player thought she made it home before passing out, but then realized she'd woken up in another world. It says if you do make it back to the real world, players have reported dreaming about this other dimension. Others have said some unknown entity followed them back home, and others say they began seeing things afterward that weren't actually there. So honestly, this seems like a lot of work to go to a place that just sounds awful. Awful. Nothing good happens.
Yeah, imagine doing that in the
Nothing good
Cecil
happens
Hotel,
when you
of
get
all
back.
places.
Why would anyone want to do this? Why? Can you guys answer me? Has anybody played this? Why would anybody want to do this?
I want to do it.
Horrible. Elisa wasn't playing the elevator game, guys. There's a lot of weird stuff surrounding this case, but this ain't it. So much is suspicious, and as much as I'd love to believe the LAPD, this was just an accidental death, there's too many unanswered questions. Why was the cause of death changed on the autopsy report 3 days before it was published? Why would Elisa go into these tanks, and if she did, why was there a sandy particulate all throughout her clothes? Why was the elevator video edited before showing it to the public? Why has her cell phone never been found, or even had the confirmation of its existence confirmed? Now, it's said that Elisa had 2 phones around this time. She had probably a regular flip phone, which would have been her cell phone, and then she had borrowed a friend's cell phone, most likely a smartphone, so that she could take pictures and post them to Tumblr and social media and stuff.
Singing to you.
In LA, in California. Apparently, she lost her friend's phone at some point after she arrived in California, but she would have still had her own phone. That's why she was calling her parents every day. So, where did this phone go? What was in it? Who did she talk to? Who did she call? The police have this information, but we don't. The only time the LAPD mentions anything about her phone,
99.9% bacteria.
Phone records, too.
Clean laundry and sanitizer.
Bashir, home with the help of Living Spaces Grand Prairie, located at the George Bush Turnpike at Arkansas Lake. Is when they're asked in the press conference, like, what about the phone? And the police officer responds, I don't want to talk about the phone right now. What was on the phone? Where did she stay before checking into the Cecil Hotel? Why was her behavior only ever described as odd by these roommates and never elaborated by anybody else who talked to these roommates? Was she alone? Had she met someone in LA while she was there? Was there?
Wait, wasn't there an interview with the roommates? No, there was an interview with the people who stayed there and turned in the fact that the water tasted funny. Why haven't the people who stayed with her come forward?
I think that that's definitely suspicious.
That is very suspicious.
Be able to get her police file from the Freedom of Information Act because the case is technically closed, so we should be able to get that stuff. I think it's strange also that a young girl from Vancouver who was traveling alone could turn up dead on the roof of a hotel in a water tank, and the police would so quickly write it off as accidental without checking into it further. Does it have something to do with the Cecil Hotel's dark past or the Cecil Hotel being haunted? That's another theory. A lot of people think that
if they're just like, oh, that's the Cecil Hotel, you know, shouldn't have been there.
To her, and he's still harassing women in the hotel. A lot of people think it could just be the angry spirits of the people who died at the Cecil Hotel, taking out their revenge on innocent people staying there now. Personally, not that I don't believe in ghosts or the unknown,
that green lip.
because I don't think that that's the case here. But it is definitely creepy to think of some unseen presence putting Elisa maybe into a trance and leading her up the fire escape, up the ladder, up onto
I'm glad
the
we went with
staircase,
this instead of the shot glasses.
convincing her or compelling her to go.
This is
into
big
those
enough to be a
tanks,
regular cup.
because I feel like you'd have to be
Not big enough for like a
on
full
something
beer, but big enough for a
or
regular cup.
hypnotized to ever think it's a good idea to jump into a water tank and take a swim, especially when you're alone. Doing stupid things like that, I guess, is more understandable if you're with a couple of friends and you've been drinking. But just to be alone and to do that, it doesn't make any sense.
Even if you are manic, to be alone
what I do know is
and
Elisa's
be like,
a
I'm
girl
gonna get naked
who
and
might
hop
have had
into
some
this
issues,
water
and
reservoir.
she might have been going through some stuff, but she had a good heart.
Is
She was
very
looking forward
psychotic.
to life and her
Obviously,
future.
people get
She
there, but
struggled
like,
with the stuff we all struggle with. Why am I doing this with my life? Why does it seem like everyone has it more together than I do? Why does it seem so hard for me but so
my
easy
theory
for
is
everyone
that
else?
somebody
Why am I
killed her and
always
put her
sad?
in there.
Why do I have so many ideas but all I do is lay in bed and binge watch The Office on Netflix? Elisa was a normal girl who worried about normal things. She didn't like her legs, so she hated wearing skirts. But she loved fashion, so she wished
But she was
could
wearing
wear more
shorts.
skirts. She talked about wishing she could be
And
more
they were
active, but
medium
she
shorts?
excuses of why she couldn't get
Medium-sized
to the gym. Although
shorts?
I certainly think there's something about
And
this
she hated
case
her
that we don't
legs?
know. I don't think there's
Excuse
anything
me, that's big.
supernatural going on here.
That's
The
a big
Cecil Hotel is a
thing.
dark
People
town.
who have body dysphoria and dysmorphias don't just like, oh, okay, let me wear something out in public that would fully show that. Huh. Maybe she was sleeping with someone. She was sleeping with someone, it turned bad, killed her. How though? Maybe convinced her to jump into the fucking thing. They said, okay, well, I'll meet you up there. Go up the elevator and I'll meet you there. Who knows? I don't know.
And some have reported
Not really
humans
rationalizing
pressing down on them while
or
they
you
stay
can't really
there.
rationalize
But a negative energy
those
isn't
kind of
put in the water
thoughts.
tank. A person did that, whether it was of her own free will, out of sorts from being off her meds, or if it was someone else.
Yeah, I've never heard of that
well
detail
enough
either.
to leave
If
the
she
surveillance
has
cameras.
body dysphoria or dysmorphia and was wearing medium-sized shorts that wouldn't have fit her, and it could never have been proven that those were, or never was proven that those were actually hers, I feel like there's some layers there. Maybe. So in my mind, I'm like, well, how could you get somebody onto the? And obviously, don't come at me for putting myself in the shoes of a fucking serial killer. We're watching the movie. We're all thinking about how it happened. You tell them that you want to have sex on the roof, and then after they get in the fucking thing, you say, okay, let's go for a swim too. Especially if it's someone who knows the hotel and knows that you can open those, and convinces this person, hey, we should go for a swim, and their clothes are on the roof. And yeah, I hate to be morbid about it too, but if they hung out while it was happening too, and then threw the clothes in after, that adds up. And then climbed down the fire escape after. Bye, Michael. In my mind, I'm like, okay, well, shorts, not wearing clothes she should be wearing. Why'd she go to the roof in the first place? She did go outside of the what's it called, and made it seem like she was talking to someone. And if it was someone who worked for the hotel, they would have known there's a camera in the elevator as well. So if they had whatever this entire thing, they would have known to not fucking go in there. Right? She wasn't wearing her glasses either. So they met, slept with each other once, said, hey, let's go up to the roof. I can show you, and we'll go swimming. Right? Morbid.
Never know. I definitely think the most likely explanation, if you look
especially
at
manic for not seeing red flags, for sure. Especially if you had just slept with the person too.
Her brain chemistry.
Oh, but wait. They did say that there was a kit that they never tested, and it was ruled unknown before accidental. So suspected foul play could be that there. Why was there a kit? If not for evidence that there should have been one taken. I guess just evidence of foul play in the first place. But that kind of elicits the fact that maybe something was like, yo, should probably, yeah, huh.
Was doing, she didn't have impulse control, and she did this to herself. If I had to say it, not to take her own life, but maybe she just thought it would be fun to swim in a water tank. She was feeling stuck in a rut back home. College wasn't going well. She was feeling like everybody else was living their life,
especially
cool things, and she wasn't.
In a random place like this, in a completely, the video feels like there's a sense of security. It feels like there's a sense of like, okay, everything's going fine, I'm safe here, and then the elevator starts malfunctioning, and then they're like, okay, what's going on with this? Yeah.
So maybe she had FOMO. She sees these stupid girls on Instagram going to Chernobyl and posing at the site where a nuclear reactor exploded and multiple people lost their lives, and there's still radiation present there today. It's idiot girls on Instagram that do this stuff. Or she sees people posing on a mountaintop and watching the sunset, or she sees people, surfing in the ocean.
Because foul play is the only thing that makes sense.
Spontaneous. I want to do something.
When you look at the things like
I can tell
the edited footage, the not tested kit, the response from the police. This seems like something that somebody has done before, or had premeditated or thought about and knew to lead the police away from it, which lines up with with them having worked there, having worked there, met them beforehand, knew not to go in the elevator, knew not to show the police the water tower.
People back home. I want to live my life. Be spontaneous. Be spur of the moment. have.
You can go to Chernobyl now
Maybe she thought
for a
that
day and
water
not
tank
receive,
had
well, not
to extend,
actual, the
would give her something
fucking
interesting to go
factory,
home and tell her
but
family. It would make her
the city
feel
outside of it.
alive. I don't know, man, but there's a lot of great online resources you can look into for all of these theories if you're interested in investigating them further. Like I said, John Worden has an entire playlist for Elisa Lam, and he's done an amazing job getting all the information into that playlist. But before we go, remember what Elisa Lam said. Life is long and difficult, and people will always be stupid and complain. But it's worth it as long as you have special moments. There will be lots of these moments in the future, and have been a lot in the past. So what if everything is shit and all the plans have gone to hell?
That's someone
If I ask for help,
hopeful.
someone might be willing to spare a hand.
See, and that right there, oh
Feeling
shit.
depressed sometimes, feeling
dropped-
anxious, sometimes feeling sad, feeling as
Hang on, I
if you're
dropped the
not
remote,
accomplishing
and I've got a good point
everything that you know you can. This
that
is
I need to
completely
make
normal.
with
We
what
all
she
go
just
through it.
read.
Not everybody talks about it. Not everybody admits it. But we've all been there. And even though Elisa didn't get to live
Dang it, the
the
fucking
full and
remote
happy
exploded
life
again.
I'm sure she would have, we all still can. We're still here. And we have to remember that there's going to be lots of these special moments in life. There have been special moments in the past. There will be in the future. And if you need something,
We're gonna have lots of
if you're in
special
trouble,
moments.
you just have to ask. 'Cause there might be somebody out there who will lend you a hand. And she was completely right about that. This community here is full of people who are supportive, uplifting, positive, intelligent, kind, and wonderful human beings. So if you're feeling the way that Elisa was feeling, and you need someone to talk to, just put it in the comments. We're all here for you. We are all here for you. And we can make our own special
That's a good
moments here
community.
together as a community. Thank you guys so much for being here. I want to give some birthday shout outs before.
If that, I think that was part of her last post, right? She was saying that she's hopeful, or that maybe if she asks for help, that somebody will be there. And not a psychotic person, but somebody who's preying on someone like that, like I forget who mentioned it earlier, but said could easily be susceptible and not realize red flags as they're happening. That all tracks. That all lines up there. As they met someone, they felt safe with them, and this person was completely not who they should have been with. So that's my theory.
Go for Patreon. Jamie L's birthday is going to be on October 29th. Samuel.
Good shit. We need to do more. We need to do more stuff like this. I like good stories like that. But yeah, that's my theory. It used to be that she just had a psychotic break and was manic, and unfortunately was in the wrong place at the wrong time and fell into the fucking thing, or maybe wanted to go for a swim. But now, after looking through or going back through with all the information that this person had, because there's more information in this video than I've ever heard before, because I've watched this before, obviously. It sounds like somebody was involved, even though there was no like signs of foul play. If this person was all trusting of whoever they were with at the time, and somebody convinced them to get into the fucking tank, and they said, okay, well, sorry, I'm not getting you out. As morbid as that is, but again, we're talking about the Cecil Hotel. We're talking about a place where this kind of stuff happened. Again, as morbid and as horrible as that is. We'll end it with some lighter toned things. Don't worry, I won't leave you with uneasy feelings. Right, even if it was accidental, even if even if it was accidental, it seems like there was somebody else involved. Even if it was accidental. Even if we are totally putting in that foul play there, no, but see, then why didn't they get in the elevator? Why is the footage edited? Why there's just a lot of stuff that points to foul play, and then being too lazy and having been misdirected by someone to actually do the work that should have been done by the fucking LAPD. Wait, LA or not LA? LA? No. Inside job. That's what I'm saying. I'm for sure like no. That's That's a cover-up. Ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. We'll do this one, and then we'll hang out for a few more minutes, and then we will do the sign-off.
Greg Abbott signed the most extreme abortion ban in the United States.
No exception for rape. No exception for incest. This is a free country. Plenty of government against it. That's bad.
Hi, welcome to Unwrapped. I'm Mark Summers, and today we're strolling down the boardwalk, discovering secrets behind classic summertime sweets. And our first stop is a real classic, first appearing in 1900 at the Ringling Brothers Circus. It's right here. It's cotton candy. We're going to see how one place spins this sweet stuff all year round. Watch this.
There's also one video where it shows how the footage looks edited, and it could also be no, it's not edited in the same sense where there could be somebody there and they edited themselves out. It is edited in the sense that it looks like there's some footage cut out at the end of it, like way later, like somebody used the elevator after and that got cut out.
There's nothing else like it. Today it's called cotton candy, but these hairy strands of...
Yeah, if it was fully accidental, if it was 100% like, oh, let's actually go have sex on the roof, and there was nothing like actually premeditated foul play or anything like that, why wasn't the other person in the elevator? And again, it kind of does point to them maybe, yeah, just being, whatchamacallit, manic. Oh, I need to take this off the handle as well. Them being manic and just being like, okay, I'm gonna go for a swim. No, but then the clothes ended up in the thing. If you're manic and you say, I'm gonna go for a swim, you take your clothes off before jumping in. Because you have at least the forethought to think, well, I don't want my clothes wet. Right? Foul play. Foul play and lazy police work. Which makes sense for the Cecil Hotel. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, and like in the video, they popped outside and looked, and it looks like they were talking to someone. It looks like they were flirting and being flirty with someone, and leaned up against the wall and went up to the buttons like that. It looks like they were kind of looking around the corner, right? There's probably someone there. Probably someone being like, no, don't worry, it'll take you up. Just press the buttons. Right, like I've been psychotic. I've been manic. Actually, I take that back. I've swam with my clothes on in a fountain before, where I was like, yeah, I should be in that fountain right now, and I just jumped in. But that's a bit different than, I don't know. I shouldn't say it's different. Again, we can't really rationalize the choices people make in altered states of mind, whether it's on substances or mental breaks.
They were once called fairy floss.
But about that,
America
fairy
was
floss.
introduced nationally to this sweet stuff in 1893 at the World's
Oh, here, I'll check the hours real quick while we're hanging out as well.
At other fairs, carnivals,
Mark Summers, I love you, but I don't want to have to yell.
Cotton candy became
Don't want to have to yell over you, home dog.
Finding it at any other time of the year was nearly impossible.
Home slice.
But in 1985, cotton candy took a big hop forward with the invention of fluffy stuff.
Go, internet,
Thanks
go.
to specially designed bags,
I remember that.
Cotton candy lovers could have this silky sweet anytime.
The bag was just super thick, right?
Cost, and putting cotton candy into bags, it had a much longer shelf life.
At their factory in Covington, Tennessee, Charms makes
Oh my god, are you
millions of
fucking
lollipops
kidding
every
me?
day.
It changed and it's at 39.11. It went up 4 watch hours. And it says it updated on September 12th. I'm gonna shit all over the place. It changed 4? Really? That's just disrespectful. It changed 4 watch hours.
Behind locked doors is an area secured for fluffy
I'm not
stuff.
even gonna try to make sense of that anymore. There's no sense in it.
And is in fact a secret process.
For the first time ever, they're allowing cameras to show some of the amazing technology that brings fluffy stuff to the store.
Fluffy stuff to the store.
It starts with the main ingredient,
Come on with
which
me,
is
we'll
a
get
special
more.
type of sugar called sanding sugar.
With some sanding
These larger
sugar
granules make for
and a big
fluffier
ol'
stuff.
If you try to
thing.
use regular sugar and make cotton candy, it tastes really good.
I want to put that on my belly.
600 pounds
Someone
of the
lift me
sweet
up
stuff
by it.
enters into a blending machine, and small amounts of flavor and color add to the batch.
4 whole
After mixing for
hours.
several
Right.
minutes, the strawberry flavored sugar is emptied into a vat. Next, workers measure the mix into
What
buckets,
time is
and
it?
then
We'll do 10
fill
minutes.
hoppers
10
at
more
the
minutes
top
in the
of
stream.
giant spinning machines.
So we can do exactly 4 hours.
Large tub.
Dang, we did 4 hours tonight? I mean, that should help. But isn't that just disrespectful? It went up 4 hours.
Inside that you have.
I was at least hoping for it to go back up to like 39.70, but no, 39.11.
And that'd be way over 300 degrees
Disrespect.
Fahrenheit.
The melted sugar forces out of tiny holes in the screen,
Yeah, it does.
creating strands of floss that collect along the sides.
That collect along my
Then the
mouth.
cotton candy is formed into what's called pillows and move the bagging in a top secret process.
And we're using a lamination with a metallized film that
You said secret, what are you doing?
extremely airtight, and it gives us shelf lives in excess of a year.
Which means cotton candy can be enjoyed anytime, anywhere.
You don't have to wait to have it at the carnival in warm weather, but you can eat it in the wintertime when you're watching the film.
No wonder that shit was so hard.
It has moisture and
A year's shelf life? I think they overextended a little bit with that. Right, isn't that just that's so disrespectful? I'm not even mad about it, it's kind of funny. Because we were like, wow, it's really not going to give it to me, we're only 30 away, and now it's like, okay, you thought that was bad, here's 4 watch hours.
luxury diapers.
Mango creams, yum. We should watch more candy videos too.
YouTubers back again.
So yeah, like stuff like this, amateur videos that need views anyways.
So let's get some cream.
Put that there cold water for that, boy.
My hands are warm.
My hands are warm, so I wanted to put them in cold water. That guy's funny.
Cold water keeps the content.
That's good shit.
So,
That was quick. That was very quick-witted. He was like, "You gonna fucking sass me like that? I'll sass you back."
And people ask why we don't use labels, and it would stick way more. We tried that before. It
You
took
also
so
want to pull maple syrup and try to pour it into a bowl.
Yeah, but corn syrup's even harder.
Exactly.
Because people are always like, oh, why don't you just pour the bucket in? But it's not. It's way thicker than maple syrup. Because I think that's what people use it in.
This is the kind of this is what I want to see with this kind of commentary too. I want Gen Z perspective on this old shit. He goes, "What's that cold water for, boy?" He said, "My hands were warm."
Yeah.
And that's like this much content.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Right.
So how much has to go on this?
This is the commentary I want.
36 pound batches now, so it's 12 pounds of cold syrup.
Nice. So many stars on this. And the lip of it is absolutely perfect. This one ended up very, very clean.
No.
Oh, wait, you don't really read the yeah.
There's propane leaking from somewhere. It's not big or not bad. It's bad. You say it's not big, but I definitely smell some propane.
Got a lot of mango-based candy. Yeah, it's a lot of spinach.
These guys are stoned as shit. That's what's wrong. That's why we're
It's flavored with fruit.
we've got similar comedies.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes. Yeah.
I mean, hard to argue.
6 minutes to go. in our stream. How long is this video?
So what's up with ketchup? Like, is it
an hour? We'll watch the rest of this later.
Oh yeah, I heard smoothie. Yeah.
Hopefully we can find this again.
When you start to think about it, you're like, wait a minute, like what?
These guys are funny. I feel like I would either really, really like doing that or I'd hate it. I'd like it until it actually sticks to my hands, you know? Oh, the new space tech, the fractal, which I kind of know how I did, but would be pretty hard to reconstruct or redo. I'll do it eventually, but
8, 9 trays, after that.
fractal tech.
And people love creams.
Yeah.
We'll start making more.
Yeah, no shortage of orders there.
Yeah. So yep, we've been doing 36-pound batches since.
Nice. Yeah, there's a propane leak somewhere.
So, there you have it.
I don't think I tightened the propane enough. Because I've been smelling it a little bit for a little now. Where is my spray bottle? We'll do the old bubble test. Watch out, Ryan. Watch out, Stinky. Oh, found it. Sugar.
Corn sugar.
The soapy water test never fails. Found what needs to be tightened, so I'll wait until we drain the lines all together before cranking that soldier boy.
I don't think so.
Dusk. Yes.
Did it go over it all?
We're at dusk, cobalt, and then this one I think is more dusk. We did dusk and cobalt on this. Could have sworn I did some green as well.
You're gonna stir it all up.
3 minutes to go on the stream. I need to go stretch. My fucking neck hurts. And trying to pop it for sure isn't gonna help, but you know, just might.
If you are doing
See, they laugh like us too.
You try to steal this up too quick.
That laugh, the stoner laugh.
Once you open the sugar, something forms like something close to cement. So take your time.
What was that, Dad?
Oh, they are stoned as shit. It's the father. It's the parents. It's a family company, and they're YouTubing it now. They're bringing it to the forefront. Yeah, they're like, he's totally like, yeah, y'all can smoke so long as you don't get, as long as you get your work done, right? Right.
Well, good work, man. Just keep up the good work and stuff. I'll come back when it's all cooked and whatnot.
Thanks, Greg.
Or something.
I don't know what we would do without your moral support.
No, I don't know. Probably will. What country do you guys go to?
240.
240. So it's kind of like candy. Like you're not necessarily looking for like a visual. You're looking for like the actual temperature to go up to 240.
Well, we just switched over to this new thermometer here on the wall. So we are, personally, I'm using visual clues, but I don't know if they really help or not because I usually watch for like the froth on top to go away. But your dad was telling me that just happens when you take the top off. That might not be.
Well, it happens every time.
That's funny. Alrighty, friends. We'll bring the pups in here one more time. We need to get all that stuff finished. Lexi, your cups are finished. I still owe you more stuff though. I think we'll just do this first shipment. I still need to make you remake the 14th. We still have 3 weeks until the 10th, so we got plenty of time. Don't worry. Don't worry. I appreciate y'all being here. But yeah, Lexi, I got you. Even if we need to do expedited shipping, which we won't need to. The longest it usually takes is 10 days to ship stuff regular. And if we get anywhere near that, we'll do expedited for sure. Yeah, for sure. Think about it. Maybe salt and pepper shakers. I can do soap dispensers. We can do more cups. Wall art. We could do some different wall decorations maybe. That'd be pretty cool. Alrighty, friends. I appreciate each and every one of you. You know where I will be next time. We'll be here again next time. There's Lucy. Bye, Lucy. Alrighty, friends. Love y'all. Until then.